the arena sits empty. Soon, the seats will fill to capacity.
Yeah, the fans here in Atlanta are just nuts. You know, they go crazy.
A packed house will stand and scream for their heroes.
60,000 plus fans. It's awesome.
Hey, these Atlanta fans are insane. I'm ready to hear you guys get loud.
Monster Energy Supercross has returned to the Georgia Dome. Supercross may have been born in Southern California, but the Supercross fans in the Southeast are some of the sport's most passionate. The Georgia Dome is packed to the rafters, and these enthusiastic fans are pumped up to cheer for their favorite high-flying rider as Monster Energy AMA Supercross, an FIM World Championship, is in Atlanta, Georgia for live speed coverage of Round 8 of the 2009 championship season. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside Speed Zone Supercross Series champion Jeff Emig. The pre-race show is rocking the house right now. We're glad to have you with us for our second live broadcast of the 2009 season. And boy, do we have a great championship fight for you right now between two former champions, Chad Reed and James Stewart, tied atop the point standings, Jeff.
And believe me, Ralph, they know that this is a packed house. They know that we're live on Speed. They feed off of that energy. They're going to give us 100% of their effort tonight. I'm telling you, the racers are fired up.
Well, we're getting closer to dropping that first gate of the night, but before we do that, let's introduce you to the third member of our Speed crew here tonight. Here's Aaron Bates.
Well, guys, the atmosphere here in the Georgia Dome is absolutely electrifying. There are a full capacity crowd of over 60,000 fans chanting and cheering already for their favorite rider. They got to indulge in an energetic pit party earlier this afternoon. The riders are amped up and ready to go. You lucky viewers at home are lucky enough to be watching live, but the viewers here in the seats, not only do they get to see it, they get to feel the energy that's floating through this building.
Well, here he is, a 2007 champ, James Stewart, doing his own version of Bon Jovi. It's one of the highlights of the pre-race, and you get to see it every week at one of the Supercross events all across the country. Here's a look at the menu of what we have in store for you as our live coverage works its way through the evening. 4 heat races, 2 last chance qualifiers, and 2 main events. You'll see both the Supercross and the Supercross Lites classes in competition live here tonight. We got a really interesting feature for you as well about the relationship between the rider and his trainer. And we'll have a VIP pit pass for you as well. There he is, James Stewart, number 7. Going for his 7th straight victory of the 2009 season. The fastest man on the planet being introduced to this rowdy crowd here in the Georgia Dome. When we come back to Atlanta, we'll put you on top of the helmet of Michael Byrne and take you for a lap here inside the Georgia Dome. Stay with us. Speed's live coverage of Supercross continues.
A cast iron V8 block makes your truck weigh more. You want the aluminum one that lets you tow more. That's having your cake and eating it too. Available.
Well, the most famous place to eat in this city, the Varsity, right down the street from the Georgia Dome. And we're back live inside the Georgia Dome. Opening ceremonies continuing. That's Chad Reed being introduced to the crowd as he was driven into the stadium. 2-time champ tied with James Stewart. And Jeff, as you take a look at this dirt here in the Georgia Dome, it's probably the biggest difference from any of the other places we've seen so far with that red clay.
Yeah, the clay shapes up very nice. We have a very technical track here. These brave riders really have to exert and show a lot of courage because some of the rhythm sections that we're going to see are very technical and tricky. And And here we go on board with Rockstar Makita Suzuki's Michael Byrne. That's over the finish line. This is down the start straight for the first time. This is going to be the first turn area. It's nice and wide and open. A little rhythm section here into the first 75-foot triple. He's going to make a 180. Now this is where the track gets difficult, Ralph. On off a very difficult triple in the middle, and you can see some of the dark lines and the rut starting to form. That's when it gets even more difficult for the riders. The whoop section has been very challenging today. We've seen quite a few riders go down into another rhythm section. You're going to have to triple right here. Maybe another triple before this on-off, not really sure. A nice 75-foot triple at the end of the stadium. Great for the spectators there on your right. Then you hit this deep sand. Tricky with the Dragon's back. Another set of sand over the finish line. And that's a lap at the Georgia Dome with Michael Byrne.
And that's some of the sand you're more used to seeing when we get to Daytona International Speedway, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. Not what you're used to seeing at a place like the Georgia Dome. Now you see Mike Gossler talking things over with his rider, Chad Reed, as they all get ready. And we had a chance to talk to some of the riders earlier today about their thoughts on racing here in the Georgia Dome.
It looks great. You know, I like the dirt. I think it's a lot more technical than Houston was, and so I think it's going to be a good racing track, and hopefully it'll be a good day.
Well, you know, a lot of people think this track is sticky. It's actually real slippery. You know, I think it's sticky in some spots, but it's actually slippery. I'm not a real big fan of the dirt, actually, and don't tell nobody. So, you know, I try not, just between me and you, all right?
You know, dirt's good red clay, some Georgia dirt right here, and you know, the fans, it's always a packed stadium. The stadium's always been really good, and always a lot of adrenaline in the stadium, so should get pumping tonight, and it should be good. You know, I'm really excited.
I think in years past, it was, you know, when I first got here, 02, 03, 04, it was, you know, kind of soft and real tacky. But over the last few years, it's actually got quite hard and become slick. So, you know, it's a tough track. We got a bit of everything, so that makes it fun. You know, from a rider's point of view, you gotta, you know, be on your toes and choose good lines, and it makes it, you know, tough on the tire choices and everything like that. But you know, it just adds a little flavor to the race.
Well, the opening ceremony is continuing down on the floor of the stadium as you watch James Stewart talking things over with his mechanic. This opening ceremony that you're seeing here is exactly what happens at each and every round. If you've never been to a Supercross event, all that pyro, the rider interviews, all that stuff takes place before they drop the gate. And then when they do drop the gate, Jeff, this is what it looks like. Some of the best high-flying antics you'll find anywhere. Tonight, the guys will be scraping their heads on the roof of the Georgia Dome.
Oh, it's going to be an incredible night. I'm telling you, the atmosphere, the energy is here. It's off the hook.
And so are the people. The Georgia Dome is packed, and speed is here for live Supercross. Glad to have you with us.
The high fly.
You're pumped up, getting ready for the first heat race of the night. Before we do that, we got a trivia question for you tonight. Time now for the Speed Trivia Challenge, a chance for you to win a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. And here's today's question. Who won the first Atlanta Supercross main? Was it D'Osho, Johnny O'Mara, the Hurricane, Bob Hanna, Ricky Johnson, or the Beast from the Southeast, David Bradshaw? To enter, either text your answer number 1, 2, 3, or 4 to Speed 3. That's 773333. Standard texting rates apply, or you can log on to speedtv.com, keyword SX. The winner will receive a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. Stay tuned to the end of tonight's show, and we'll give you the correct answer. Good luck. Let's check in with Aaron Bates for Progressive pre-race support.
After getting third in Houston, it was off to a tough start today for the number 20 of Nico Izzy. He ended up having a brutal crash during second practice through the whoop section. He said he's battered and he's bruised and his back is extremely sore, but he's going to do whatever it takes to power through this heat.
Yeah, Izzy took a really tough fall, Aaron, and actually Brett Metcalf crashed in the first qualifying practice in this same exact spot. We believe that he has a broken collarbone, so he definitely is out for racing tonight. Yeah.
And Jeff, as we take a look at Nico here, we talked about how the track is for the Supercross bikes, for the Lites bikes, even tougher in some of these sections.
Yeah, the rhythm sections were, but the whoop section, because of the long spacing between the whoops, that's what really was tough for these Lites riders. They've smoothed some out since then. So Much better.
That's a great shot from our camera, which is literally mounted on the ceiling here in the dome. You can see our Yamaha starting lineup going across the top of the screen. Matt Gerke is in here. Blake Morton, one of the rookies in the class, very fast rider.
Yeah, definitely. Stroop was the fastest qualifier that's in this heat. Davalos, Izzy, Gerke, or Morton there actually. This heat race is stacked. This East Coast is very competitive.
And if you've been watching with us on a regular basis, you've seen the majority of the West Coast season already. They still have a couple of rounds to go. They're on a break. They've had one round of East Coast competition, which took place in Houston. They had a few weeks off. Now they're back at it. Christophe Purcell was the guy that won that opening round. So a lot of these guys tonight starting to feel that pressure, Jeff. They got to get back on it because you only get 8 races.
Well, and so they have 7 in a row. So this really is, you know, this is the series. The one was kind of like, you know, kind of like a pre-race, type of thing. But now this is where, you know, they had a chance to sort it out, figure out where they're at. Now this is where the championship chase starts. A 981 Austin Stroop. He needs to get back into this, and I definitely think he's one of the favorites for the night.
And one of the, well, actually the longest start straight we've seen all season. And when you get inside these big football fields, you can utilize all 100+ yards from one end zone to the other. Here we go. Heat number 1, Supercross Lites. Starting to stack them up at the top of the berm. Down go 2 riders. And into the rhythm section we go. The 719 of Vince Freeze jumps into the early lead.
Wow, what a great start by Freeze. This is the way to start a Supercross Lites, man. On Austin Stroop to the inside.
Stroop is on that green Kawasaki, the Monster Energy Pro Circuit bike. He comes bar to bar through the whoops and takes the lead away.
And you can see just how difficult it was for these Lites bikes. And 250cc 4-stroke machines are just struggling to get through.
Oh, and Jeff, look at how they're struggling through that triple section there. Nico Izzy on that number 20 already having a rough night, and Jeff, he even had a tougher time through this opening corner.
Yeah, and you see Izzy here go flying off the bike. This is his bike. Izzy's way over here. Let's take a second look here. Focus on the yellow number 20. He's on the inside. As he comes through, I think he gets hit from the side, and his right hand actually comes off of the bike. So 2 hard falls for Nico Izzy here today. Not the way he wanted to start the second round of this championship, where he's one of the favorites.
So the Rockstar Makita Suzuki rider Izzy will go straight to the last chance qualifier. As you watch Stroop, the lead. Here's a battle for second. Give that to Davalos now, the 577. The rider on the KTM, Martin, takes over that position in the heat races. As you see the name scrolling across the top of the screen there, top 9 highlighted in green. Those are the transfer spots straight to the main. Everybody else to the LCQ.
Yeah, and this first heat is pretty shaken up from what the qualifying times are. Like we said, we have Izzy out, we have Blake Morton, one of our faster qualifiers, way back in 16th right now, and you've got Freeze, Kilbarger, Carey running inside the top 5. Just phenomenal starts.
Aaron. Back up to watching Kilbarger on that 412. Kilbarger having a good run. And let's check in one more time with Aaron.
Well, guys, a rough night to say the least for Nico Izzy. Nico, this day is not going as planned. What exactly took place there?
Yeah, I don't know. I just came out of the turn. I rode the jump. Somebody landed on it. There's nothing I could do. I mean, it's crazy. It's just not having a good night so far.
Regroup, muster up. We'll see you in the LCQ.
Jeff, that first corner, really just chaos. Oh, and one rider goes down here as that battle for those final positions continue. That was Levi Kilbarger who had gotten the whole shot, and the 412 now struggling to stay inside that top 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he needs to do. Top 9 goes straight to the main event. The rest go to the LCQ. More riders down.
2 riders down right there. That's going to help him maybe gather a couple of those positions back. That's right before the finish line jump. One of those looks like it's the 130 machine down right there. That's Kyle Keelan.
And Kilbarger comes across the stripe in 7th, so he made up those positions that he lost.
That was also Kyle Gillis on the 521.
And watch this here.
That's Kilbarger going down.
And that was Durham that just came in and cleaned him out. Now the sand section finally bites one rider.
Yeah, it gets Gillis right there
Yeah,
first.
Gillis, yeah, and it just swallows up the next.
Okay.
Clear sailing for 981 here. Austin Stroop absolutely on rails right now.
He's got that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki just humming along beautifully right now at the front of this one. Remember, this is just a 6-lap race, 2 to go. This is a battle for 5th position. Carrying Carl and Gerke going at it in here.
Gerke to the inside. Is he going to make? Oh, not quite enough.
Gerke is on the 34 machine. Coming up alongside fellow Yamaha or Suzuki rider.
And you just see yellow flags flying everywhere. We've heard it from all of the riders. There as Gerke gets past. It's just this track is so difficult and so technical. We've seen a lot of riders on the ground here so far tonight.
And they've already caught up to a couple of riders in front of them, including Durham and Free. So what was a battle for 5th is really quickly becoming a battle for 3rd. And look how deep this sand is here tonight, Jeff.
Gerke nails that Dragon's back, and he actually jumps into the next sand section, gains quite a bit of time. That's going to put him right up on the back of Freeze, who's had an incredible heat race here so far. Can he hold on for 4th?
And Freeze is still in a transfer position, even if he loses this spot to Gerke. Right now they're fighting over 4th as a white flag is out the final lap. Oh, Gerke gets slung off the bike. He's going to lose 2 positions. There goes Kilbarger by.
There goes
Gilmore. Another one. Oh, and he's going to fall right out of a transfer spot.
Wharton was in 10th.
Checkered flag goes to Austin Stroop. He'll take the win. Here's a fight for the transfer. Look at this. Coming towards the line, and that's Wharton on the 61. Looks like he might actually get it. Wharton, who had a terrible start, and Blake is suddenly maybe going to find himself in a transfer position as he gets around Hackley.
This is going to be close because Gerke gave up that spot.
He's just got to get through that sand section. It looks like Wharton will avoid going to the last chance qualifier. Here they come. And the final, well, Wharton's actually going to get 8th. Hackley will get 9th. And Gerke doesn't get the transfer.
Wow, just a little gift there from Matt for Hackley there and Wharton just sneaking in. But no problems for Austin Stroop. He is really dialed in here tonight. He looked fantastic in qualifying practice, looked flawless in this heat race.
Let's watch and see what happened to Gerke.
And watch the front wheel wash out as he gets on the throttle to exit the turn. As he hammers the throttle, it took some of that weight off of the front tire and just knifed it. Then once it caught it, just flip him in there. Take a second look at it. Really watch the front wheel break loose right there. Then it sticks. Right at this moment, Matt knows that he's going to the LCQ. He's disappointed because he was putting in a really great ride to get into that, inside of the qualifying positions.
And Stroop a second faster than Davalos or anybody else in the field for that matter with a 50 flat. A good best effort.
Definitely, and we're going to have to see how this second heat plays out because fastest qualifier, Christophe Purcell, his teammate, you know, he's in the next one, so this really is the battle between these 2 Pro Circuit Kawasaki riders.
Well, here's Aaron.
Well, guys, wasting no time taking over the lead. Austin, 2 for 2 heat race wins for you so far this season. What does it mean to you to finally be able to get that first race of the season out of the way and be a little bit more calmer to come in for this round?
It's good. I like, it's good for me confidence-wise, and winning a little bit and leading races. It just helps me out every time, and it's been great. Just my sponsors, my Parts Unlimited, Thor, Maxima, Bridgestone, Scott, Vans, Terminal Velocity, Monster, Thor, Parts Unlimited, my trainer Michael, my family. Thank you.
Congratulations on your heat race win.
Well, he keeps riding like that. He's getting a lot of practice getting those names out, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's the bikes for Heat 2 in the game. We'll have that one for you when we come back. Welcome back inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. There's the board that says heat number 2 as we get set to drop the gate. Look for 9 more riders to go straight to the main. Now, Jeff, you're sitting here in heat number 2. You're in the gate. You had a chance to watch heat number 1. You saw those guys crashing. If you're a rider like the 377 and Christophe Purcell, does that add to the intention?
Well, it definitely does, but that's what a good rider does is he will see those spots, try to figure out where you need to avoid, and try to keep the nerves down. That's what, makes the cream rise to the top. That's why the best guys are the best, because they can control that, take in that information, and actually do something productive with it.
There's a 96 of Tyler Wharton. That's Blake Wharton's brother. We just saw Blake in heat number 1. Now we get ready for heat number 2. And again, we got riders over the edge of the Byrne.
That's that long start straight, and it's a battle.
Purcell going for the lead early in the green on that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and he's got the spot, and we stack him up in that corner as well. And boy, they better hurry up, because Purcell's going to try to get this field in a hurry.
And that was Saylor who actually had the whole shot. He's 4th now coming through the whoop section, just behind Lemoyne here, 41 on the Yamaha.
And Matt is chasing Stephen Clark on the 77. They're battling for second. They go bar to bar through the rhythm section and give it to Matt Lemoyne now, who takes second away from Clark.
Lemoyne actually was our 4th fastest qualifier today. Really has been agreeing with this Yamaha, just turning in phenomenal rides here. Oh, he's off close to the edge. Did you? Whew, that was close to the Parts Unlimited tough block. I thought he was shot off to the left.
Back underway into the rhythm section. Skied over the big triple. Tabletop back into the rhythm section.
And this was one of those rhythm sections I was talking about during the onboard, is that it was tough for that middle triple, which is the fast line. Lights guys could triple out. Here's a replay of that start, and see Christophe Pourcel, 377, stays on the inside. Saylor comes around with the whole shot. A number of riders way off the back.
And then Jeff, we had a crash at the other end of the stadium.
Well, it was easy. You can see there that the 309 just gets stacked up. That's Dolly. He actually had that great start, but he turned down, and that's the inexperience of a lights rider. You know that if you're in that position, that there's going to be a lot of guys come up the inside, so you need to roll around the top side of the berm and keep yourself out. He tried to cut down in this same turn right here, and that's where everybody bottled up.
That was Spencer Dolly on the Blame Brothers Honda. And now we're back to watching Christophe Pourcel.
And this is something that we might get used to, is Pourcel out there riding perfect laps. Today in qualifying practice on a very technical, difficult track. Pourcel did lap after lap, perfect laps, never changed his line, figured out the track early on in the first practice and stuck with it. He is the man to beat here tonight.
And what a great night so far from Matt Lemoyne. I know it's early, but Jeff, he was 18th at Houston, running second now in the heat race here behind Pourcel. A great confidence booster for Matt Lemoyne.
Well, and you can see it in his riding style right there also. He's very confident on the bike here this weekend. I've been really impressed with him in qualifying practice. Now he's got a great start. He gets a chance to see Pourcel out front, possibly follow his lines or at least pace him.
That's Will Hahn on the 50, who has just taken over 6th place. Hahn had a 6th place finish in the main event at Houston, which again was the opening round for the East Coast Series a few weeks back. Back into that whoop section. There you see Hahn, and Hahn right now is chasing Brandon Jessamine.
That's Blair, the 125. Daniel Blair, he's running an 8th. And then it's Liebert just to the left of him for a second.
Here they go.
Oh,
so one rider down, and that stacks them both up. 3 riders down in that one corner, and everybody comes sailing by. Lieber on that 779, at least he gets up and going. And that 125 of Blair is in the middle of it. He can't get started. That's him right there.
And that's Grady, who was in the qualifying position. Mark Grady dumps it on that left-hander and swallows up Blair. Oh, what a... and Blair and Lieber. Let's watch a replay here.
There goes Hahn.
See there, he gets high and loses the front tire right up here. Just gets too close to the tough blocks. Lieber and Blair. And so heartbreaking because Lieber just makes the pass for the final qualifying position. And you see both riders having trouble starting these machines.
And Teddy Parks took the right line. He went to the bottom and slid right through there. And now he's sitting up in 7th and a comfortable transfer spot. And we're on the final lap. Christophe Pourcel.
Very comfortable.
Looking great here tonight. Trying to pick up right where he left off in Houston.
Well, remember, Christophe Pourcel, he's a former world motocross champion, so this young Frenchman knows how to win races. races. He knows how to train and prepare himself, and he has tons of drive.
And Jeff, we haven't even seen him racing here in the States in a good year and a half, almost 2 full seasons. Horrendous injuries he had to battle back from. Got himself back to condition. We'll have a long night to talk about it. Here comes Purcell to the checkered flag as he has won heat number 2 and continues on that road to recovery in the best way possible by seeing the checkered flag first. Purcell wins heat 2. He's going straight to the main. Has plenty of time to get himself ready for that now, where he'll battle with his teammate. Purcell's still riding hard, even though he's already taken the checkered flag.
He might have been just too focused, not even seen the checkered flag.
That would be my guess, because he's still shredding this place. By the mechanics area, maybe his mechanic get the board out there. Hey, he's up, buddy, you've already got it. Wharton's going to join his brother in the main. Ripple's going to get the final transfer spot, and everybody else goes that last chance qualifier where we'll get our final 2 riders later on tonight. Purcell's going to do a whole nother lap.
Well, that was once again an exciting heat race, and what is the theme of tonight? Stay out of trouble. We have seen so many riders down as Purcell throws down a 50.4, his best lap time.
Yeah, but 0.4 of a second slower than his teammate Austin Stroop.
Okay, maybe the track
just saying.
changed, maybe the track. Hey,
don't judge me.
Definitely
just saying.
The Cowie guys are on it, no doubt about it.
It's going to be a good night. Well, that sand was tricky, Jeff. As you take a look at the top 9, Brian Johnson, the first of those not going straight to the main, instead to the last chance qualifier. Brandon Jessman's gone, though. He's in 6th. Will Hahn moved himself all the way up to 4th. And he's got a good pick of the gate.
Hey, Clark and Lemoyne in the 3rd and 2nd. Both those riders put on great heat rides, showed some serious speed. Take a look at this here in this sand section. See Lieber just having more problems, and you know he was in a qualifying spot at that point, and you know that left glove, Ralph, is just full of sand.
It's like Dakar deep sand. You know, once you're down there, it's hard to get up. Well, Aaron, it's great when you get to the top of the podium, though.
He was so amped up and so excited about that heat race that he actually didn't even see the finish line. Purcell, you ended up just going off and doing a whole extra lap.
Yeah, I know. I think I got the lapper, and I was good on the bike, good on the track, and I got one more lap.
Christophe Purcell picking up right where he left off in Houston here with a heat race win.
There he is, Christophe Purcell, getting real comfortable at the top step of that podium.
Confident.
Yeah, there's a lot of confident guys down there now because the big bikes are next. The Supercross class. You saw Ryan Villopoto. You saw Chad Reed. Heat 1 for Supercross is up next, live on Speed.
This guy.
He dropped the gate for the 31st time on an AMA Supercross race here in Atlanta. You know, they used to race over in the old Fulton County Stadium. Damon Bradshaw, nicknamed the old Beast from the Southeast, from up in Charlotte, won the last race held over at Fulton County Stadium on a Yamaha. You were probably in that race, weren't you, Jeff?
I was there. I probably got lapped. Definitely. He was so fast.
Well, every Tuesday night on Speed, get into the world of Superbikes with host Jason Britt and see Jason and the team. Of course, some of the wildest sport bike stunts, riders from all over the world. 2 wheels, 1 love. Check out all new episodes of Superbikes with Jason Britt Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Let's check in with Aaron Bates.
Well, guys, the top 5 finish streak came to an end for the number 33 of Josh Grant last weekend after he ended up crashing through a rhythm section and taking the handlebar to the throat. He was taken to the local hospital for precautionary purposes. His glands started to swell. He was having some difficulty breathing. He is just fine. He didn't ride at all this week, and he said the goal is the same. He's expecting a top 5 finish tonight.
And you see Josh Grant on the 33.
Certainly has shown some speed. There's no doubt about it.
I talked to Jeremy Albrecht, team manager for the JGR motocross crew, and they said actually the first time he got on the track was at press day here, which would have been Thursday.
Yeah, and another rider that's shown a tremendous amount of speed is the 911 here. Tyler Bowers on this Moto Concepts Honda was a privateer at the beginning of the year, picked up the ride with Moto Concepts last week. 10th fastest qualifier here today, so Bowers on the gas.
And that Moto Concepts team, Jeff, has really been coming on strong this season. They've been putting together some pretty impressive runs as you take a look at our Honda starting lineup.
Well, they have some great riders. They have Ben Coisy, Daniel McCoy, Jeff Alessi, Okay, so we're going to see a couple of those riders here in this heat race. So Jeff Alessi will be in this one along with Bowers.
And this is Jeff Alessi's Supercross debut. His brother Mike, one of the stars of the Supercross class, riding for the Rockstar Makita Suzuki squad. But Jeff now making the move up.
From the lights,
From the lights, yep. There he is, right there. Here we go. Chad Reed did just what he had to do. Get a great hole shot start, and look at the reigning champ disappearing.
How about it, Ralph? This is the weak link of Chad Reed's series so far. Makita Suzuki riders have got it dialed in here. This is what he's been practicing. Now he executes it in this first heat.
Ryan Villopoto tucks into second place on that number 2, Monster Energy Kawasaki. It looks like it's Grant on the Joe Gibbs Racing number 33, Yamaha in third, and Josh Hill on the factory Yamaha right there, number 75, back in fourth. But Reed, Jeff, as we've talked about, has really struggled with his starts. He keeps telling us, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. We saw him spending some time talking things over with his teammate, Mike Alessi, who is unquestionably the best starter in the field. Maybe he's finally figured something out.
Well, and I think that it's Chad working together with the team, and them, you know, Suzuki has a fuel-injected bike this year. Maybe it's a situation where they're trying to adjust the power to, you know, to get it to, you know, suit his style. But also Ryan Villopoto, he is on the gas here in Atlanta also. This is another rider that, this is his first season on the 450cc machine. We saw him win numerous races and a championship as a light Supercross rider, but now jumping up to the big bike, there's also a progression with him, just like Chad Reed this year. Maybe Atlanta, switch to the East Coast is where these two riders come on and really make a charge at that win streak that James Stewart's been on.
Talking things over with Mike Fisher, team manager for the factory Kawasaki squad, which Ryan Villopoto rides for. He said, you know, as you look from high above the stadium floor here in a RoboCam, he said with Ryan Villopoto, he seems to be putting a lot of pressure on himself because as a team, we don't put any pressure on him. We're just very happy to let him develop and grow. But he says Villopoto wants to win so badly right now, and he knows there's so much expectation for him, and he's really piling the pressure on himself.
Well, winners work extremely hard, and they expect to win every time they go out. They don't go through all of that training, all that pain and agony that it takes, and all this risk in doing what they do to finish second or third or fourth. That's why it's been so frustrating for Chad Reed this year. He's been second 6 times in a row.
Josh Hill, who got his first career victory just a year ago in Minneapolis at the Metrodome, he's on number 75, and right behind him is his stablemate, Broc Hepler, and boy, is it good to see him back as they're being chased by Tim Ferry on the other factory Kawasaki, and Hepler has gone through so many injuries, Jeff, and then wadded it up big time again last week in San Diego. We thought he was going right back off to the sidelines.
Yeah, you talk about pain. Hepler's been through it. He's had so many injuries stack up back to back to back, but Hepler has that ability to rebound from those, and he's a quick starter when he comes back. Last week in San Diego, he was riding awesome. He did have a pretty tough get-off, hit that hard San Diego dirt, and he said he was pretty surprised that, you know, that he didn't break a bone in that. But now he's back after it. Another great start here in this heat race, and he's looking at a spot to the main event.
I talked to his team manager as well earlier today, Jim Perry, who told me, boy, we're very happy to see him back, and he felt so bad about the crash in San Diego because he said this is one of the best years for Broc as far as his preseason training had gone. He said he's in some of the best shape we've seen. He was really ready to go racing this year.
Well, and it's that type of preseason training is what allows him to rebound, to come off of an injury and get right back into it. It's kind of like building a foundation, you know, like if you would build it like a pyramid, you know, you've really got that foundation to actually rely on.
The one pyramid that Chad Reed needs, training, no problem. Fast, no problem. Momentum. Jeff, that's the one thing he needs on his pyramid right now. And this, a dominating performance in a heat race and a great start like he had for the whole shot, might be just what the doctor ordered for Chad Reed.
Well, it definitely is. And Chad Reed, I think, has been so close to the lead, although the momentum shift is definitely in James Stewart's camp right now. But it only takes that one whole shot, that one little bit of luck to change the whole course of the season. I certainly had seasons where at the beginning, you know, I had a hard time winning midway through. Well, let's take a look at this replay here. Look at the young Chad Reed just absolutely shoots out of the gate like he's been shot out of a cannon and manages to keep it to the inside or the middle of the inside around there, which he's going to have to do in the main event if he wants to nab the whole shot.
Jeff, that was a picture-perfect start for Chad Reed. And you know, when I talked to Mike Gosler, his mechanic, earlier today, they were really struggling with the setup of that bike, especially the suspension, which is a key component to being able to shoot out of the gate like that.
Well, and it's more so than anything, you've said it before, us Supercross riders, we're mental, okay? And it's all about confidence. It's belief in yourself, belief in your equipment. And actually, Chad Reed gained a little bit of confidence right then. He's like, wait a second, I can do this. I did have great starters in this heat race. Josh Grant, some of those guys who really get off the gate good, and I just executed my start like I wanted. That's what I want to do in the main event.
I walked part of the track today with Chad during the rider walk-around, and he was telling me, because, you know, I really love these football stadiums as the white flag comes out, because you have all these long sections, and at the end of each lane is a 180-degree turn. He goes, I really like those. Something about it fits with his style.
Well, and Chad is one of the best ever at doing this, flipping the bike around, then nailing a really tricky rhythm section. This triple right there in the middle, see, he just came up a little short. He's been making it look easy all heat race long, but that section is anything but easy. And if he had came up about 3 inches shorter, he might have gone over the bars. That's how close the riders have to land the tires and everything to execute this stuff perfectly.
Let me tell you something, a little short for Chad Reed, which he rides through, would have put me in traction for about 6 months. Chad Reed, unbelievably talented, the great Australian rider. Checkered flag, and Chad Reed wins his 4th heat race of the 2009 season. Now, can he take it on to the main event? Villopoto's going to go. Remember, the top 9 transfer. They're going to be the first 9 you see. Grant's going, Hill's going. Hepler, he's going to go join Reed, who's feeling it now as he gives a thumbs up to the huge crowd here.
And remember, 4th place, Josh Hill. He didn't make the main event last week after being 3rd fastest qualifier, so that is a big weight off of the factory Yamaha rider's shoulders.
How about Bowers taking the Moto Concept guys straight to the main?
I'm telling you, Tyler Bowers is on it here.
They are here to play. That team is really coming on strong. Chad Reed, the red plate with the white number 1, because he is a reigning champ, 2-time champ. Won it in 04 and 08. Looking to do it again in 09.
If I'm Chad Reed, that's exactly what I needed here.
Jeff Alessi just missed it in his debut in the Supercross class. Instead, he's going to go to the last chance qualifier. Maybe he'll make the transfer from there.
And get a little more airtime on our live broadcast here,
right?
A
little more practice, too. Probably couldn't hurt him, actually. Not a bad idea, really.
I don't know. I still like going through the
straight through is much easier, yeah.
Yeah.
Just gives you a little more time for the nerves to build up, though, right? Well, Aaron, it has been since Houston, if you can believe it, since Chad Reed has won a heat race.
But definitely finally deserved. Chad Reed just executed a start that he has been working on all season long. Chad, is that all it's going to take to stop James Stewart's win streak tonight?
I mean, that's going to definitely help, and you know, James is riding amazing tonight, and it's up to me to take that next step, you know, twist the throttle and try to take him on. And, you know, I want to thank all the guys at Rockstar, Makita, Suzuki. They're doing an amazing job. The bike's awesome tonight, and it's up to me. No excuses. Twist the throttle and win. It's easy, right?
Chad Reed, he's a warrior. He never gives up.
Look at those eyes, Jeff. A couple of weeks ago, you and I both talked about how it looked a little empty in there because he was feeling a little down. He wasn't admitting it, but he was feeling a little down. And now tonight, the sparkle is back.
Much better right now.
Look
if
at
I'm
that.
Chad Reed, I'm very confident. But I'm going to pay real close attention to this next heat.
You think? What would that be?
Lines and all that.
Number 7? Yeah, the man he has finished second to over the last 6 rounds is right there. The fastest man on the planet when we come back. Super live coverage of Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. And as always here on Speed, you're getting to see it in high definition. And what a great sport to present to you in HD. Supercross just booming. Look at the crowd here tonight. Packed to the rafters here in the Georgia Dome. Getting ready for heat number 2. And in this one, we get to see for the first time tonight the guy they call the fastest man on the planet, James Stewart.
There's no doubt he's going to show us exactly how he earned that title. He's going to give us a little free riding clinic here in this moto.
Well, Reed ran a 48.1, so we'll see how quick Stewart is. Look at this. 41 straight heat wins. His last loss was Houston in 05, and he's never lost as number 7. But Jeff, it's that last stat I think that's so impressive.
20 wins by 10 seconds or more. 8-lap heat race, 10 seconds or more. That's more than 1 second a lap faster than second place. So he's on fire.
There you see our Honda starting lineup scrolling across the top of the screen. The 30-second board is off the track, and here we go. Hey, look at that. James Stewart with a whole shot. He even beat Mike Alessi, who's in this one, and Alessi's arguably the best hole shotter in the field.
Ivan Tedesco on the Honda. He's in there in second.
Boy, look at Stewart just rail through that corner, and there's Tedesco right behind him on the red number 9, the Honda factory rider.
Another Honda Koizi there, Moto Concepts rider.
There's that Moto Concepts team again, right up in there. I saw Andrew Short coming through as they blast past the mechanics area.
Boy, Tedesco really has been on fire this year. He had a couple of off races here, the last couple, but really this season, Ivan Tedesco has agreed with this new Honda. He's motivated here tonight at the Georgia Dome. And like I said, these riders, they know that there's a packed house. They know that we're live on speed. So we're going to see some great effort out of these Supercross racers.
And Jeff, you and I talked with Ivan earlier today during the rider walk around, and he's feeling pretty good. He knows he's done his homework this year. He's ready to go. It's just a matter of connecting the dots and putting a whole race together. And if he can come out with a solid second place finish behind Stewart here in heat number 1, as you can already see the gap that he's built, that's got to be some good momentum for him. But look at Reed and his mechanic Mike Gosler, who used to be the mechanic to the great Ricky Carmichael, took him to a few championships. Those two watching their number 1 rival.
Well, and Gosler spent a few years with Carmichael figuring out all of Stewart's weaknesses, you know, figuring out how to beat this rider. They were pretty successful. Stewart mounted some charges, but Carmichael always came out on top in the end of the championships.
You know, and in talking with Reed, one of the things he told me, he goes, I know what Stewart's weakness is, and I know how to push that button. His problem has been he just hasn't been able to get up to him to do it.
Well, and this is a great example of why he hasn't been able to, because Stewart this year, his starts have been superb. His laps have been even better, and the finishes, you know, have been right up front. And it was only at that opening race where Chad really got a chance to pressure him. They switched it back and forth. Stewart made the mistake. Both riders went down. Since then, we have not seen that type of battle.
Here we go, a little deeper in the field. That's Mike Alessi in yellow on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki. He's chasing Koizi, and he's got Millsaps, who won here a year ago, in the fight with him on the 18. And that's all back in around 3rd. And that's also Andrew Short there in the 29.
So very competitive here between about 3rd through 7th. You see Kevin Windham, he's just sneaking up as you look at the hat, look across the top of the hat. This is how Millsaps gets by. This is Alessi's weak point. I've talked to him about 2 hours before the heats here. I said, Mike, it's all the entry speed into the whoops. This is what you have to work on.
He's going to lose another spot there as Andrew Short, another one of the Red Bull Honda factory riders, gets by him. And Alessi just does not look as smooth through the whoops, Jeff. And now he's got to deal with the Geico Power Sports machine, the number 14, Kevin Windham, coming in quickly.
Well, he's just got a whole train of Hondas here. It was Millsaps.
There he goes. He's coming right alongside of him. Side by side over that big jump into the sand. Well, he gets a little roosted, does Windham.
Just a mouthful of sand there when you're following a rider, I'm telling you. So Windham to the outside. Can he square him up? That's that classic Supercross final turn. The only difference is it's a real short straight there to get through the first turn.
It took 2 different lines through there as we now take a look at the 54 Matt Bonney. Look at Windham trying to the outside, and then Alessi comes right back with him, but it looks like Windham's got him, and I think when they get through the whoops, he'll definitely secure that spot.
Well, then look who's sneaking up behind. Matt Bonney also, he really has put together some incredible efforts this year, having to work with the team that's been, you know, struggling with the machines. Bonnie's really had to knuckle down and just do the best he can with his equipment. I've been really proud of him this year. He's put in some great rides.
And Mike Alessi's got to get going. He's already dropped back to 7th. And remember, Jeff, just a top 9 transfer. He's going to find himself in the LCQ racing with his brother.
Well, here's Windham, the veteran, one of the crowd favorites. We've seen him in this same first turn area during the opening ceremonies here tonight. Does that classic nose wheelie that just has all the fans here in Atlanta just on their feet cheering.
Meanwhile, back to James Stewart. Jeff, his best lap, a 47.8. Chad Reed, a 48.1.
Pretty quick. Pretty quick, but
does that take all the wind out of the sails that Reed had pumped up there with that heat wind?
No, because we're only talking about 0.4 of a second. You know, Stewart has been about a half a second a lap faster here this weekend. What Chad's going to need is a great start and to try to get out front by himself. But let's also don't count out second place in that first heat was Villopoto, and he was only at 48.5, so he was pretty quick also.
We did see James Stewart have a problem earlier this day, but Aaron, how's Chad feeling about watching Stewart right now?
Well, guys, Chad Reed is anxiously watching James Stewart win his heat race. Chad, what is it that you're looking for when you're watching James right now?
Yeah, just watching lines and seeing where he's going, see where he passes the lappers, and just, James is amazing. I mean, I love watching the guy ride, and the track's getting really tough out there. It's a lot of traction and a lot of loose stuff on top, so you got to be real careful not to get caught out.
You're competitors, but it's camaraderie all the same.
I think mutual respect is a fair way of putting it, Jeff.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, he is so complimentary, and you earn that type of stuff. But look at Windham, it's right in the middle.
All Honda through here. You got the 29 of Short and Windham, and then Coisy in there.
But Coisy actually he was in front of those riders. He was in fourth the last lap around. Short and Windham both get by, as Short and Windham are really digging deep here on the last lap of the heat race. This is both riders are in qualifying position, but you get a better gate pick with the better finishing position in your heat race, and that's why these guys are battling bar to bar here with less than a half a lap to go.
Fighting over fourth place, it's Stewart, Tedesco, Millsaps, Short, Windham, Coisy. Checkered flag coming out. James Stewart takes the win in heat number 2 convincingly, as we continue to watch the battle for fourth, which is tightened up. Short on the 29. Ooh, a little bit of a bobble in the sand, and here comes Windham. Wyndham's going to be on the outside. Who's going to get to the line? It goes to Short. Tedesco, Millsap, Short, Windham. And guess what? James Stewart won this one by 11.4 seconds. So again, in this 8-lap heat race, he's over 10 seconds.
He is absolutely flying tonight. Chad Reed is really going to, well, Chad Reed and the other riders, I should say, are really going to have to dig deep, but the points battle is tied up right between James Stewart and Chad Reed. So we're going to have some fireworks going off, and more than opening ceremonies, I think we're going to have some in the main event also.
And for Reed, that's his, or for Stewart, I should say, that's his 8th heat win of the year. He's got one every week. Charles Summey be the first rider out of this heat to go to the LCQ. And Mike Alessi just held on to 7th, so he avoids going to the last chance qualifier. So the fans here enjoying the heat races. Next up, we'll be showing you some last chance qualifier action for both classes, and that'll fill out the fields for our 2 main events coming up a little later on tonight. And boy, Aaron, if you look at the top 7 or so names, they're all Hondas except for this guy.
This guy, indeed, and he makes it look so easy out there with that heat race, but even he fell victim to this tricky track tonight in the sand section. James, how difficult and technical is tonight's track?
Well, Atlanta's always technical because it's slippery and rutted at the same time, and I feel good. I got my Samuel Yamaha working really good, and I'm excited about the main event. We just gotta go do what we do best and try to hold on.
Congratulations on 8 for 8 heat race wins.
And the $1 million smile right there with him, ready to go. James Stewart. He'll go back, talk things over. Larry Brooks and the crew, San Manuel Yamaha squad will get him ready, and they'll come back. Chad Reed, he's got a win. So does Stewart. They're going to get ready for main events. We're going to get set for the last chance qualifier for the Lites when speed returns live to the Georgia Dome. Next up is the last chance qualifiers, and our final 2 positions in each of our main events will come out of those. Wednesday, and on all new Drag Race High, the Wildcats struggle for sponsorships, and a prank pulled on the Bulldogs puts the entire show in jeopardy. Don't miss an all new episode of Drag Race High on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Speed. There you see the riders in the gate for the Supercross Lites East Coast Last Chance qualifier. And you know, Jeff, we talked about how the Lites guys are the guys on the way up, like Nico Izzy. Well, both Chad Reed and James Stewart have won here in both classes.
Yeah, so Izzy trying to be one of those riders. You got to win the Lites before you get to the Supercross, and Izzy has had a tough night.
Oh yeah.
It was his mistake in qualifying practice in that in the heat race. He got landed on. So this is where the tough get going type of thing. This is where he really has to focus, and it's all about getting the start, staying clean, right, going around that first turn. So there's some pretty heavy hitters in this Lites East Championship. Gerke and Izzy, both these guys in here. Gerke's way off to the right side.
Do you have an idea? Do you think there's a position in the gate that's going to be better than another for tonight?
Yeah, you definitely want to be left of the center box. And
the doghouse.
Yeah, and you see right here Daniel Blair, who had a great position. Gerke, both these guys lined up way on the inside.
A
long hold. There's something wrong here.
Now, and everybody's backed off. You saw the girl holding up the 30-second board. When that goes down, anytime after that, with the 30, they can go. They drop it down. Well, that had to mess some guys up mentally. Obviously, it hurt one guy with mechanical issues. Down go a couple of riders. A couple more go down. They're falling everywhere. And it is not Nico Izzy getting the whole shot. So his night's gotten even worse. He's inside the top 5, it looks like. The 395, 385, I believe that's Gully.
Izzy back to 6. Now he's back up. You see Izzy at the top of your screen in the yellow. I'm like, oh!
Oh, the 72 struggling through there. That's a big problem for him.
That's
Brian Johnson. But it's Gully, Adam Gully on that 385 that has the whole shot in the early lead. And he's being chased right now by the 125 of Daniel Blair, who takes the lead. Remember, only the top 2 will transfer.
Wow, and this is exactly what Blair needed, just a twist of fate after when he had that bad stroke of luck there.
Oh, the red flag
heat
is
race.
out, Jeff.
Okay, something happened here.
Red flag is out at the start-finish jump. There's finish jump. Oh, and one rider crashing over the finish jump. And then diving over the tough blocks to get out of the way. Boy, this has been exciting all the way around. A crazy last chance qualifier. It goes all the way back to the start with the gate holding.
Well, and if we went back to that earlier shot when we were focused on Gerke, we seen him actually, when he was focused with the throttle, the RPMs up, with the clutch out, starting to slip it, we seen him look up at the 30-second board and then look back down, and then it was a good 15 seconds after that. So that was a long hold. Something's wrong.
That's Mark Grady, who crashed over the finish line jump. Aaron, what do you got for us?
Well, guys, I just found out from John Gallagher from the FIM that the reason why they red flagged that was some rider was actually sitting on the gate somehow, some way. They weren't sure, but the gate wasn't dropping. So instead, they're giving everybody a fair chance, and they'd like to restart this race.
Interesting. Grady, though, going down there over the finish line jump, he may need some bike repairs to get that going.
Here's a look at the red flag rule. Less than 3 laps completed. Racers lined up by their starting order. If we completed more than 3 laps, racers restart from their race positions of the past lap, and there's 75% of the laps completed. You can see what they would do there. Of course, we didn't even complete really the first lap. This is it's the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Series, but it is an FIM World Championship, and that's why Aaron mentioned John Gallagher's name. He is here. He is the representative for Supercross for Fédération Internationale du Motorcycle.
Very nice.
You like that?
I
didn't think I could pull that one off, did you? I wasn't so sure myself. But actually,
they work in
they work
coordination
together
with the American Motorcyclists Association, yeah. So
you'll see both officials walking around with all the right shirts on and the proper logos, and they're all down there.
We really have a dedicated crew in that arena. They do a great job in such a difficult, sport here, where so much happens and there's so much controversy in Supercross, and these rulings on, just a number of different things are very challenging for the organizations.
How happy is Nico Izzy on that number 20 to see this get started again?
Yeah, he started 5th, which wasn't great. It wasn't bad. He wasn't on the ground. I definitely think that he has the speed to come through the pack from, you know, 10th, 12th, somewhere around in there. But any position further back than that, it's going to make it real tough, because these LCQs, especially in the lights, because these riders are the more inexperienced Supercross riders that we have, nerves are a little higher. They tend to make a lot of mistakes. And then the LCQ, only 2 spots left, 20 riders on the gate. You can imagine what it's like out there being mixed up and all of that.
You know, there's a big party going on here inside the Georgia Dome, and we're glad to have all those Supercross parties taking place at all different houses and restaurants all across the country enjoying our live show. We saw a lot of folks, heard from a lot of folks that was going to be taking place tonight, and we're glad to have you all with us. I hope you're enjoying our second live broadcast of Monster Energy Supercross competition this year here on Speed.
So here we go, second chance at the LCQ. This is where those riders that went down on the first lap or in the first turn, oh, thank you, thank you. I get another chance at it, but they have to execute this. Doesn't mean that the nerves aren't there, maybe even a little more nervous for certain riders.
Well, you better get it right this time too, because this is the final chance to pull it off. Watch the 521 bike, the AMA coming over. Pulling him out.
Uh-oh.
That's what we talked about.
Something's going on there.
Something wrong with that bike. There's a 30-second board, Jeff. She'll turn it sideways, head for the sidelines, and then supposedly within 30 seconds, anywhere the starter feels like, and he's sitting inside the doghouse in the center.
Yeah,
he can drop that gate and off he goes.
And it's random. They definitely try to switch it up on the riders once the board goes sideways.
Oh, no, he's back. Look at that. 521 is back.
He's back in. Let's look for a hole shot from the 521.
Kyle Gills. Coming up through the inside. Everybody gets through. Oh, now they stack up big time. And it's Izzy. Boy, did that restart pay off for him.
And it didn't for Blair. This is Daniel Blair, holding that right-hand arm area.
We got 5 riders.
Remember, he was leading at the first lap before the restart.
Yeah, he sure was. Chad Ward on the 321 caught up in that as well. And Izzy starting to pull away.
This is just what Izzy needs here to get his night back on track. Such a difficult day for him so far. He just wants to get it in the main. He doesn't care how fast he goes or how big a lead he has. And watch everyone over the first double. Blair gets landed on. And 1, 2, 3, 4 riders stack it up.
Boy, they just piled into him.
There's another replay with a second place start. Wow.
That was the 831 of Ryan Smith, who was running in second, and then the 34 machine having his problems, Matt Gerke as well.
And Gerke takes the position there and then gives it away on the first lap. So Gerke just really can't get it going here. He's going to need to do something special, because right now Daly, 309, has the position.
Yeah, remember, just 2 riders will transfer out of this to the main. And it looks like Izzy's got a fairly comfortable 5-second lead right now. So it's going to be this battle for second that's going to decide who else goes. 3 riders pretty much battling over it right now. Gerke in there in the 34. He's quickly closed back up on these guys, Jeff.
He's working hard. There's not much time. He cannot afford to make any more mistakes.
He's on Steve Roman right now, and that's 731. Roman on the Kawasaki. Gerke on the Suzuki City backed entry. And he's got to get around these guys in a hurry, Jeff. We're halfway through this one. You can't waste too much time.
Well, and to put it into perspective, Daly was 25th qualifier. Yeah,
that's going to help him right there. Those 2 got stuck up on the outside, and here comes Gerke blasting right through the whoops. Suddenly he's in second, clear track in front of him. That should secure the position for him.
Well, and like I was going to say, to put it into perspective, Daly, who had the position, 25th fastest qualifier, okay, and Gerke inside the top 10 and 7th, so you can see the sense of urgency for a championship contender like Gerke to get that position.
There's Nico Izzy. Now he's just got to finish it off. Finished 3rd at Houston.
Well, the Suzuki guys definitely have to be breathing a sigh of relief, as 2 of their young top stars here are as it appears on the final lap, to be in qualifying position, but I'm not giving it to anyone until this race is over. The way that this LCQ has gone, it's been filled with excitement.
Final lap here. Gerke was 10th, by the way, at Houston. Everybody chased Purcell to the line on that night.
He was much faster than 10th at Houston, though. He was really on the gas.
Bit of a mistake there by Izzy. You saw his feet coming off the pegs, through that deep sand one more time over the Dragon's back. A little more sand. Plodding his way through there. There's the checkered flag and a win for Nico Izzy in the last chance qualifier. And it looks like Matt Gerke is going to take his Suzuki City bike on to the main as well. So those two will take the last two spots in the main event here tonight.
And that's pretty impressive. Gerke was on the ground in a 4-lap LCQ and still managed to claw his way into that final transfer spot.
So Izzy gets a little bit of the momentum he was hoping for. They'll go back and ready for the Lites main event. We got a Supercross class LCQ to do first. Highlights of coming to a Monster Energy Supercross is a pit party, and the one inside the Georgia Dome was huge today.
Supercross! Atlanta Supercross.
It was a good time. Jeff, you and I had a lot of fun at the pit party today.
Tons of photos, tons of autographs. Really, the fans were treated to an awesome pit party, and now they've been treated to some really exciting racing so far.
And look how packed this Georgia Dome is.
Pretty
Whoa,
cool.
Man, it's a massive crowd inside here, all the way up to the rafters, and that's our RoboCam, which one of our technicians crawled up onto the roof to mount high above the stadium floor here.
Well, it's had that type of feeling, like that Super Bowl type of vibe, you know, Daytona 500 type of energy, and I think that's why we're seeing such great racing.
Riders definitely feeling it. I know we've been feeling it. It's been a great night. Of course, there's a lot of more Supercross racing to go this season. Let's check in before we drop the gate on the LCQ with Aaron Bates.
The number 27 of Nick Way is expecting substantial improvements this week. They put in a brand new motor package into his bike, but also he hired himself a new man friend, and that's Nathan Ramsey, to actually watch video, try to just improve him, motivate him, get him going, and keep him focused on exactly what it is that he needs to focus on. He said, expect big things. He loves this dome. Big things should happen for Nick Way.
Well, and having Nathan Ramsey on your side, former Supercross Lites champion. He's won a Supercross main event, tons of experience. Nathan Ramsey's a great guy. I really think that would be a great addition to Nick Way's program.
Nathan would be a great addition to anybody's program.
Yeah.
Competed for some 15 years on the pro level. One of the best riders in the business. A real fan favorite.
Hell of a dancer.
Very good. Really good. Getting ready for the last chance qualifier. 2 more spots open here in the main event for the Supercross class. And Cody Cooper is in this one too, on the Joe Gibbs machine.
It's stacked. I'm telling you, there's some great guys in there. Rockstar Makita Suzuki, our onboard camera from earlier in the show. Michael Byrne, who lives just south of here in Noonan. He's actually in the LCQ. This is only his second race back after that broken wrist.
And Eric Sorby on the MDK Motorsports machine.
He always makes it interesting.
I should say on his Yamaha, does a lot of stuff with the Joe Gibbs guys.
Yeah, it's there's some good guys in there, and only 2 spots.
Sliding through and taking the position, Nick Way, or I should say Summy on the 28. Way's right behind him on the 27.
That was Cody Cooper on the Yamaha. Oh, he drops back
and Heath
Voss, positions.
Heath Voss on the 13 moves up into second place. There you see Way on the 27.
Oh, and Summy makes a big mistake. We've seen him take a huge get off in practice, that same spot. But he has the position that each rider wants in this LCQ. He's out front, but Heath Voss and Nick Way are going to have something to say about it.
Boy, Voss stands it right up on the nose on that front wheel, and that allows Nick Way to come by. Here comes Jeff Alessi on the 801, trying to join his brother in the main event as they come to the finish line jump.
And Michael Byrne, with a horrible start all the way up to 5th place here. Remember, they only take 2. All 5 riders here, very competitive.
Summy and Way, the top 2 right now.
Take a look here. This is Heath Voss getting Scooting off this tabletop, comes up a little short, and actually he wanted to grab some front brake there, but he had to lay off it. That gives Nick Wey the position just to the inside.
Former world Supercross champion Heath Voss on the number 13.
So Michael Byrne has gotten past Jeff Alessi. He's just behind Voss.
Yeah, but he's going to have to get around Voss and then Wey. There you see Byrne on that number 26 Rockstar Makita Suzuki machine.
The third's not going to get it done for either one of these riders. They need the position that Nick Wey has. 3 laps down of 6, so the halfway point.
They have to dispose of these guys quickly. Summy running some pretty good laps down to a 50.5. About a 2+ second gap between him and Nick Wey. But it looks like working with Nathan Ramsey is really helping Nick Wey.
No doubt about it. He's focused here in this LCQ. It's we don't normally see Nick Wey in the LCQ, but when you are here, you really have to get focused, no mistakes. You have to be conscious of, like in his position, where the leader is and where the rider behind you in third is. Try to not make any mistakes, because a little slip-up could cost you that final position into the main event.
Nick Wey has a pair of top 10 finishes this year. It's his best ever. A 9th at the season opener in Anaheim and a 9th at our last round in San Diego. Trying to build on that momentum here tonight.
Halfway point. Top 4 have really stabilized. Top 5, I should say. Alessi's right there. Jace Lewis in 6th, but well out of qualifying position.
And that's the problem. If you're trying to get around one of these top 2 guys, you're going to win. You can't stabilize inside the top 5. You got to be on the move.
You absolutely have to go for it, and that's where Michael Byrne, he moved from pretty far back up to this 4th place position.
Yeah, he's around Voss, but he's still got to get a little, or I used to say he's around Alessi, yeah. But he's got to get around Voss here in a hurry.
Here's Byrne trying to sneak on the inside of Voss. There's only going to be 2 laps for him to do this next time around.
And then, you know, just getting around Voss is just part of the problem. You got to chase down Wey and then find a way around him.
So third's not going to get it done. The 26, Michael Byrne needs 2 spots. Voss needs 1. You can see both riders here have just kind of been staying right there, evenly paced between Wey. So Michael Byrne, the rider that really has to pick it up. Voss trying to hold on here to 3rd as Byrne starting to apply the pressure, but problem is both riders out of qualifying position.
Here he comes. He finished 8th in San Diego a week ago. Voss right there. Voss was 13th in San Diego. His best finish of the year was a 7th, or actually was 15th in San Diego.
Here goes Byrne to the inside.
Opener. Here comes Byrne right there. Can't get it done yet.
Mouthful of sand.
And Jeffy's going to have 1 lap to get 2 spots. That's going to be tough.
Going to be tough for either one of these riders, as Nick Wey is riding just a superb race. And we cannot forget about Charles Summy, who is out front on that KTM, really putting in a phenomenal ride. Got the start, has been able to ride this race at his pace. Exactly what he wanted to do here to make it into the main in what could be considered his local race, as he's from North Carolina.
Summy working his way through some of the traffic, trying to put this one away.
I'm sure he's got lots of family and friends here. They're going to be real proud of Summy, as he's, with just a few turns to go, look like he is going to be in the main event.
Charles Summy working his way through the sand for the final time, on his way to the checkered flag. It's his first Last Chance qualifier win of the season. Charles Summy takes the win. He's going to the main, and Nick Wey's going to join him there.
Heartbreak for Voss and Michael Byrne, who put in such great rides, were expected to be in the main event. Wow.
Well, the main events are now set for both the Lites and the Supercross class. And we'll be right back to get you set for the main events, which are coming up from Atlanta. Big crowd on hand here tonight, as we've been telling you, and they've seen the majority of the show has been full of great racing, getting ready for the 2 main events, which are getting ready to get underway here shortly, live on Speed. We hope you're enjoying our live coverage from the Georgia Dome. One of the riders we spent a lot of time talking about tonight in the Supercross Lites class, Matt Lemoyne, and he's the subject of our VIP pit pass.
Matt Lemoyne, number 41, and start racing Yamaha. If I had a stage name, my stage name would be Nighthawk. I wish I knew how to surf. My favorite movie is Step Brother. My favorite actor is Jim Carrey. To pass the time in airports, I just watch movies. I don't know, that's a hard one. My most embarrassing moment is I showed up to a local race one time, tried showing off a little bit, wheeling over tabletop, and actually looped out. People misunderstand me because I'm black in a white person's body. Biggest change from Matt Lemoyne from last year to this year is I'm going to be champion. I'm Matt Lemoyne, and that was your VIP pit pass.
A lot of great Supercross races coming your way. If you want to see Matt Lemoyne and the rest in action, here's our Toyota moving forward schedule. You can catch the re-air of tonight's broadcast tomorrow on Speed. You'll see that at noon. We're on to Indianapolis, a new building up there, that Lucas Oil Stadium. That's going to be awesome. Then the big speedway at Daytona. If you like sand racing with your Supercross, that's the place to be. And then back to the Superdome for the first time in a few years down in New Orleans. For tickets, go to supercrossonline.com. Get your tickets. Come join Jeff, me, and Aaron at the race. It should be a lot of fun. Well, tonight, it's Atlanta, Georgia. We're in the Georgia Dome here in the Peach State. Supercross is in the building. We're showing it to you live. Now for the Speed Trivia Challenge, chance for you to win a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. And here's today's question. Who won the first Atlanta Supercross main? Was it Johnny O'Mara, Bob Hanna, Ricky Johnson, or Damon Bradshaw? To enter, either text your answer, number 1, 2, 3, or 4, to Speed 377-3333. Standard texting rates apply, or you can log on to speedtv.com, keyword SX. The winner will receive a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. Stay tuned to the end of tonight's show, and we'll give you the correct answer for our Speed Trivia Challenge. Good luck to you. I'm sure all those phones in that crowd texting like crazy right now, right? Well, one of the keys to winning in Supercross competition is having a good relationship as a rider with your trainer. We put together an interesting feature for you on that very subject.
Mentally, to get a rider ready for a race or for anything that they're going to do, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. You got to, build them up, confidence. There's a lot of guys that, they struggle with their bikes in the beginning, especially in the beginning of the year. And for Davey, that's been a big problem. With a little bit of changes on the bike has helped his confidence up a lot. So that's a big part of it as well. It's a whole team effort.
With Johnny, he's one of my best friends, and it makes it really cool and easy to train with him because he knows when I'm not going to do it or when I don't need to do it or when I need to do it. To me, I feel really comfortable working with him just because I believe that he can get me to where I need to be.
Obviously, having a trainer and having him there and it's, all right, we got to do this, it's just someone pushing you into doing it, basically. And then once you're out there to do it, it's really not that bad. But it's actually getting up off the couch and getting out there and starting to do it is, I think, the toughest part for everybody.
Being a life coach isn't really one of my titles, but it's something that I try to do and just give my riders good advice. They're really successful at a young age, so it's hard to keep them grounded, to keep them focused straight and what they should do.
I think just having been doing it for quite a while now, it's just looking for those little areas that I can make notes about and say, all right, that needs to be improved, whether it being, is it on the riding side that I've seen, or especially more the physical, or just the way you conduct yourself as a champion.
He's my trainer, but I definitely feel like he's somebody besides a trainer to me, just as far as with life and everything. He's there every day and he's talking to me every day, and I think problems that you have at home, whether it's going out or whatever it is, he'll definitely be there for you, and I think that's the best part about it. He's not a trainer, he's everything. As far as the physical side, it's definitely just took my level up. I've always been in pretty good condition, and it's just like fine-tuning anything. He just helped me find some of the stuff I didn't know, and he's definitely elevated the sport.
It's a team deal, and I would say, you through thick and thin, you got to be there. It's a sport. There are going to be ups and downs. I mean, look what happened at A1. And it's how you bounce back and how your relationship and also the way you keep things floating is key.
Back inside the Georgia Dome, and Jeff, if you're going to be a successful trainer to a champion at the Supercross level of competition, you have to be a lot more than just a guy who tells your rider how many push-ups he should do.
Well, yeah, you definitely become a life coach for the riders, but there's a tremendous amount of suffering that goes on through the strength training, the cardiovascular training, and the mind of the trainer helps you sort through that, makes you understand why you suffer, why you work as hard as you do, and helps you apply it on race day. And the good guys, they do a great job. And that, you know, that term life coach, it's very true, because the riders are coming through at such a young age. They are an integral part.
And this is a part of the sport that's really evolved over the last few years, even since when you were riding.
Yeah. My last race was a decade ago. Trainers were just starting to come into the sport, but guys like Eldon Baker, Randy Lawrence, Johnny Louch, guys that we focused on, they have you know, been tremendous assets to their riders. They made a name for themselves, and they help these riders achieve their dreams. I mean, what more could you ask for?
And they truly are attached at the hip when it comes to getting their Supercross rider ready to go. Well, the pre-race show, you see it at every stop on the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Tour, and it truly is spectacular as they light up the sky before they drop the gate. We're going to have the main events for you when we come back to Georgia. Talked about the fact that we're racing in the Georgia Dome. Well, before this, they used to race over Old Fulton County Stadium. This is back in 1990. That's a great Jeff Stanton leading. And Guy Cooper on the number 4 takes the lead. Jeff, and here he's battling with Damon Bradshaw on the number 8.
Guy Cooper was in the mix all night long. He was giving it 100%. He had never won a Supercross main event, and at this point it looks like he has it, and then he stalls it with the lead.
And there goes Bradshaw by, and Rick Johnson on the number 13. Oh, and look at Mike Kudrowski gets into it there, takes Bradshaw out. And then here comes RJ on that number 13 as he gets around Cooper. And looming in the background, the flying freckle himself, Jeff Ward.
Jeff Ward. Cooper takes the lead, trying to win his first Supercross main event. Wardy is coming from way back.
Gets around Johnson, puts this move on Cooper, and Jeff Ward with a big win. I believe that was his 18th win, and it was on Cooper's birthday. Well, it's a freestyle show that takes place here during the intermission. And that's Cowboy Kenny Bartram and some of his guys down there. They put on a great show each and every week. But some of the best action tonight came from the Supercross Lites class. That's going to be the first main event you're going to see here. So let's go back to Heat 1 and show you some of the highlights. As this one got underway, Jeff, of course, we spent a lot of time thinking about what Christophe Purcell would do tonight, but it began with Austin Stroop in Heat 1.
Yeah, it definitely was a rough first turn throughout all of the heat races. We've seen tons of carnage all the way through.
The sand as tricky as we thought it would be.
Yeah, very difficult section. Looked basic, swallowed up riders. Gerke tosses it away when he was in a qualifying position.
And meanwhile, Austin Stroop goes on to take the win in heat number 1. That takes us to heat number 2, and his teammate on that 377 machine, Christophe Purcell.
And if that looked like a perfect start for Christophe, it pretty much was. He didn't get to the first turn, but he certainly made it to the checkered flag. But it was Daniel Blair, Lieber, tons of guys getting stacked up.
Purcell first to the checkered flag, keeping his momentum going. And then, of course, we have the last chance qualifier, though. Fair amount of big names in this one.
But none bigger than Nico Izzy. It gets in there on the outside.
And it took a while to get that one going. Izzy took advantage of that restart during the red flag period, got in the gate, got a great hole shot, and takes the win. So now the main event is set for the Lites. And who do you give the edge to? Do you go Stroop or do you go Purcell?
I got to be honest with you, I think it's the pro circuit riders. The guys are extremely fast tonight. Seems like they've been the only ones that have stayed out of trouble. We've seen a very difficult qualifying sessions all the way through. So the key is going to be the start, stay clean, because it's definitely the riders are really getting together through that second and third turn.
Well, we're working our way closer and closer to the dropping of the gate for the Supercross Lites East Coast main event. And here's one more look at the freestyle squad. Cross event, you get to get those signs, and It's just like the pit boards that the mechanics hold out, and they make a lot of great messages for their favorite rider, and that's always one of the highlights of the pit party. But speaking of highlights, let's show you the highlights from the Supercross class earlier tonight, beginning with heat number 1, and this was a real key moment for Chad Reed.
Well, and it was key because he's been working on his starts. That has been his problem all year in the main events. Right here, Chad Reed executes a perfect start. And I also noticed number 2, Ryan Villopoto on the Kawasaki, who's been struggling with his starts. He was fast and he was solid. But for Chad Reed, this is the confidence builder that he needs going into the main event. So we'll see if he can transfer that into the main event. And Chad had the faster heat over James Stewart.
Now we move on to heat number 2, and that's where we got to look at James Stewart for the first time. And he answered the call, Jeff. He came right back at him.
Perfect execution of his start. Flawless laps. Does James Stewart have a little more gas in the tank? We know he turned 4/10 of a second faster lap time, but it was also Davi Millsaps working through.
But really, nobody had anything for Stewart in this one, so that sets us up for the main event in the Supercross class as Stewart goes on for his 8th straight win in a Supercross heat race, and Andrew Short just beating his Honda stablemate Kevin Windham back as they battled over 4th place. Nick Way came into the main event by finishing 2nd in the last chance qualifier to Charles Summey, so the field is full there. Can Reed get Stewart tonight and stop this freight train?
I think Reed has a little bit of momentum going his way, but Stewart has been awesome. It's all going to be in the start, though.
It's all about the start, right? The start is the key.
That is the key tonight.
All right, which means you better hurry up, make that last dash to the fridge, and get back to the couch as quick as you can, because the Lites riders are in the gate. The first main event, live from Atlanta, coming your way when we come back. Won the Atlanta Lites race reads like a list of the sports crate champions: Carmichael, Stewart, Langston, and Reed. These men have carved their way into Supercross history. They come to Georgia with different goals. Kawasaki's Christophe Purcell. The Frenchman is looking to establish dominance and start the season with his 2nd victory. His teammate Austin Stroop has 1 career victory to his credit, but must charge to the front here in Atlanta as he pursues his 1st career championship. Suzuki's Nico Izzi comes to Atlanta, still in search of a 1st career race win. From Atlanta's Georgia Dome, round 2 of East Region Supercross Lites racing starts right now. Back inside the Georgia Dome, Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Getting ready to drop the gate on the main event, 2nd round of the Supercross Lites East Coast Championship season. Ralph Shaheen, Jeff Emig, and Aaron Bates with you. And Jeff, an interesting red clay circuit tonight.
Well, it definitely is, and the riders are out on their parade lap. They get a slow lap just before the drop of the main, and you can see tough rhythm sections. There's been a lot of riders go down here, so like I always say, get to the first turn first. You get a little bit luckier in the main event.
Well, let's head down to trackside and introduce you to Aaron Bates for a progressive pre-race report.
The number 981 of Austin Stroop said he's absolutely thrilled to be back racing. He said it was nice to get the nervousness and the pressure of that first race in Houston out of the way. He said coming in here today, talk about pressure, 200 family members and friends here from North Carolina just to support. But the one thing that Jim Bacon of Pro Circuit Kawasaki did mention, he said that he's noticed the maturity that's come out of Austin. He's absolutely thrilled with his performance. In fact, he is the one and only rider who puts more test time and more test lap track at the test track than any other rider does.
Well, Austin's right in the middle of this championship chase, too. Remember, we've only had 1 round here. He finished 4th at Houston. So let's show you those Lites East points coming into Atlanta. Race won by Christophe Purcell, so he's got a 3-point lead over Brett Metcalf. He's not here tonight because he got hurt earlier today.
Yeah, so, I mean, Stroop, he's right in this. There's a long series right here. Another 7 races to go. A win will put him right back in the mix.
Well, earlier today we had the opportunity to talk to some of the top competitors in the Lites East Coast Series about racing here today in this championship.
You got to look at it as the 2nd round. You know, you already did the first one, so you got the nerves out and stuff. So just go in the 2nd one, see how it goes.
but definitely the season's kicking off here, you know, because after this we race every weekend after until the season's over. So Houston was good, just to kind of see where you're at and go home and kind of work on your weekend, on your weak points.
I think it's good to have it out of the way, but, you know, it lets you know where you're at. And I think it was cool to have a little break, and, you know, so it was good. And I think this is the beginning, because we know we go 7 weeks. And so I think this is a start, and hopefully I'll start it out good.
And of course, they're all chasing that 377 of Christophe Purcell. There's his stats. Of course, he's had a very short career here in Supercross Lites competition. Jeff, he had a devastating crash almost 2 full seasons ago. And there were times when whether or not he would be winning wasn't even the question. Whether or not he'd ever ride again was more the question.
Yeah, there was actually, some nerve damage. Didn't have a lot of feeling in his leg, things like that. But he definitely came back, did all the hard work that is involved. And you can see by the stats that we just showed you that in Lites Supercross, he is a natural. There's only 1 race that he finished outside of the podium, and that's because he had a little wrist injury just before that week.
French rider looking for another win here tonight. Okay, 20 riders for 15 laps. Stroop and Purcell, the 2 Monster Energy Pro Circuit riders, swept the heats. Nico Izzi took the LCQ for the factory Suzuki group. Last year was Trey Kennard, who this season is running on the West Coast Championship. That was a winner. Trey went on to great things, taking the East Coast title.
Well, and it can happen just that easy. We have a stacked field. We have an excited crowd here in the Georgia Dome. We have some hungry riders that really want to knock Purcell off the top. A number of riders, whether it's Lemoyne, Gerke, Stroop, Wharton. These riders are really looking to take that checkered flag.
There's the Yamaha starting lineup across the top of your screen. She's got the 30-second board. The crowd is pumped up and ready to go. Nico Izzi's going to be all the way on the far side, Jeff.
Way out here.
There you see the number 20.
Let's see just how good those start skills are from Nico Izzi, because he's going to need it now from way on the right. But he does have a chance. He can get the whole shot from way out there.
Here we go. Main event time from Atlanta. Izzi with a great start, but it's Stroop who's going to get the whole shot. And there's Purcell right with him in second place. Izzi jumps through the sky in third.
Great start for both of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki riders. Phenomenal start from Nico Izzi to rebound from that bad gate pick way on the right. Davalos just behind them, followed by Lemoyne.
Davalos on the KTM, the orange bike right behind Izzi. There you see that Rockstar Makita Suzuki rider. The 41 is Lemoyne. He rides back in 5th.
Will Hahn just behind Lemoyne. So we've set the field. The top 5 is lined up.
Oh boy, Izzi struggled there, Jeff. Izzi really struggled in that sand section, that first corner. Now he gets some momentum going again, trying to make up for some of that lost time. There you see Martin Davalos behind him. He's won in Lites competition in the past. Can he do it again here tonight? Well, he's making up some ground through that rhythm section, Jeff.
Definitely is, and you can see as they come through this whoop section, which has taken so many riders out throughout qualifying practice, gave the riders fits throughout the actual qualifying heats, but now in the main event, the riders have found the line.
I thought Davalos was going to take him through that rhythm section. He really came up alongside of Izzi.
And watch the mouthful of sand that Davalos is going to get. Such a difficult section. You see just out of your screen, just in front of the 20, is Christophe Purcell, and Austin Stroop is out front. Austin Stroop turned a 49.7 that last lap around. Purcell a 51.4, same for Izzi, so Austin Stroop absolutely setting a blistering pace here. This rider wants it.
As we watch it, oh, Izzi comes up real short on that jump. Here is Purcell going past you.
Oh, Izzi gets a little hop through there. You don't want to get that hop and get the front wheel down. That's when you go over the bars. Izzi really trying to work hard here. Keep the bike on 2 wheels. He's had such a challenging night for this young man, but he definitely has weathered the storm. Now he's in a podium position here, although there's quite a few laps left in this Lites main event.
Izzy was third at Houston. Remember, Metcalf not making the main because he got injured earlier today in practice. He was second. Porcel with the win, and Stroop was fourth. And here's Stroop now leading, so things can shift around a little bit in the points if Stroop can hold on for the win here tonight.
Well, and Aaron mentioned the hard work that Austin Stroop puts in out at the test track, does more laps than anyone. Now this is where it pays off.
Let's go back and take a look at a whole shot replay.
And watch the middle right there. It is just shot out of a cannon. Austin Stroop to the line. You see the fireworks going off. And he manages to keep it just inside there, as Lemoyne had a pretty good run there on the left side, the inside.
Spoke some with Mitch Payton, who runs that Pro Circuit Monster Energy team. And Jeff, we've talked about in the past how Mitch is really a champion maker. He finds guys, whether anybody else thinks they can win a title or not, and turns them into champions. And he's on his way to doing that again with the East and the West Coast Championship titles. Porcel and Stroop here, and he's got Weimer doing so well in the West Coast Championship right now.
Well, and it's because of the type of bikes that Mitch puts together, and he attracts the talent, no doubt about it.
Here's that battle for fourth. Davalos, Lemoyne.
Oh, Lemoyne on the edge.
Look out. He was awful close to the tough blocks, riding alongside of him, just not over him. And that gave Will Hahn on that 50 an opportunity to close in.
Well, and his feet were off the pegs long before he even touched the tough blocks. That was a great piece of riding for Matt Lemoyne.
Will Hahn on the Muscle Milk MDK KTM.
Teammates of Davalos, so right now they've got, Lemoyne here sandwiched in between the Muscle Milk guys.
Lemoyne having a pretty good run. Much better than he did at Houston, where he was 18th. Tonight, 5th.
Well, and he is an interesting character, great personality. We saw a little glimpse of that in our VIP pit pass, but no better place to see a rider's personality than actually on the racetrack to really show you what they're made of.
Past the mechanics area. Jeff, you just get a blink of an eye when you go past that mechanics area, and in a night like tonight, you're also focusing on the next corner because you have the bike leaned over, sliding through there almost dirt track style. Do you really get much of a look at the signboard?
Sometimes. Sometimes you look at it, and sometimes you're too focused on what you're doing, and it really doesn't matter. But the mechanics are going to put, positive things on the board, encouragement, give you your lap times possibly. Let you know, who's in front of you, who is behind you, possibly, whatever information the mechanic thinks that you need, that's what he's going to put on the board.
That was the 74, Brandon Jessamine. He's fighting over 7th, which he holds right now. He's trying to keep Blake Wharton on the 61 behind him. And for Wharton, Jeff, a 5th at Houston. And if he can finish in the top 10 again here tonight, what a great way to begin his rookie season in Lites.
Well, and it is. And Wharton, he's the rookie. We're looking at Jessamine here, who's had so many great races on the arena cross circuit. East Coast champion here before, has won main events in this class. This year he's been struggling a little bit, but now he's making the move. He takes Will Hahn.
Yep, gets to the inside of Will Hahn, so that'll move him up at least into 6th position.
And I got to think that Will Hahn got caught up with that lapped rider. I'm not really sure who that was, but Will Hahn really lost his drive and then lost a position, and now he's got Wharton breathing down his neck. But
boy,
Hahn,
look at how Hahn came back. He just grabbed a handful of throttle and he went over that triple jump.
Yeah, that's a difficult triple through that rhythm section. You see the riders really bouncing through the whoops to Will Hahn having a real problem after he executed the rhythm section perfectly, just could not get that KTM through the whoops.
And here's Wharton to the inside, and Blake Wharton picks up another position, so Wharton now moves up to 7th.
And I'm telling you, that was a great piece of riding by Wharton as he was on the inside, made the turn perfectly, and still nailed the triple from the inside, which is so difficult on these Lites machine. Wharton on the gas.
Jim,
no nerves for him.
There's a huge run developing, too, coming out of that last corner after the finish line jump.
Yeah, as they go to the inside, and as that run gets deeper, that outside, if you can come from the outside and square it around, is an excellent passing position. We'll see how it shapes up with 7 to go here in the main event from Atlanta.
Lemoyne, Jessamine, Wharton, and Hahn. Lemoyne holds down 5th. These 4 riders continue to battle as they're past the halfway point. Here comes Wharton, going after Jessamine to the inside, just can't get it done.
Same spot, couldn't nail the triple. Jessamine held that middle.
Oh, and our leader looks for Stroop. Stroop has stalled the bike, and that's going to put Purcell into the lead. What a tough break for Austin Stroop. Jeff, that is right in that corner after the finish line jump.
There he gets it started. Here's the replay. Stroop coming across the finish line with the lead. Very comfortable. Gets into the rut, and there's a jump right here. There's a jump. He comes over that and stalls the engine. Now he very patiently tries to kickstart it, but these race bikes, these 250cc 4-strokes are very temperamental when they get hot.
Christoph Purcell on the number 377 Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki leading here as we're past the halfway point. And the Supercross Lites East Coast Regional round number 2. Taking over the lead when his teammate stalls his bike. Izzy now up to 2nd, Lemoyne to 3rd, Davalos to 4th, Jessamine to 5th. Stroop, who had this one comfortably taken care of, drops all the way back to 8th.
That is going to be so frustrating for Austin Stroop. He makes just a little mistake, not a major mistake, a little mistake that cost him the win. With a little less than 5 laps to go, it's going to be very tough for anyone to get past Purcell, who's 7 seconds out. But as you can see, Purcell getting into the lapped riders.
And you saw one go down right in front of him.
That was Durham that went down in the sand section. Had Durham fell to the left, he possibly would have fallen in Purcell's path. So Purcell, a veteran, he knows how to get through this, but it is a very difficult track here tonight.
Davalos and Lemoyne running here in the fight for 3rd. Davalos on the 577, the KTM, the orange bike.
So Davalos has worked his way up, and this is where you start getting the signs when you come through the mechanics area on the pit board. They're going to let you know who's there. And who's that? Jessamine to the inside.
Yep, and he's going to squeeze his way past Lemoyne, and Wharton comes him blasted through the whoops. He's going to try to get both of them. He gets pushed to the outside as he goes through the mechanics area. What a great battle these guys have been having here tonight. Here comes Wharton. This time to the inside, and he's going to square him up and take the position away.
And still nails the triple.
Nice ride by Blake Wharton tonight.
He is on fire right now.
This could be his 2nd top 5 finish of his rookie season in Lites.
And as they come past the stripe, Will Hahn, Jessamine, and Wharton, all 3 get past Lemoyne, so Lemoyne drops 3 positions, on that one lap. That is frustrating for a rider.
And Stroop mired back in 8th place now. Look at the fight through the rhythm section. Boy, this one has changed virtually every corner. This racetrack, as you said, Jeff, so challenging here tonight. Here comes Davalos going by some of the slower traffic, dealing with the 304 of Bradley Ripple. And that's going to be one of the big keys here in the closing stages with 3 to go. It's clearing that lap traffic.
As we take a look at Davalos here on that Muscle Milk KTM, he's going to have his hands full with the rookie.
Wharton's got him. Wharton's going to come through. He bobbled in the sand, and here comes Blake Wharton. Davalos looks as they sky over the finish jump, and he just gets enough traction off that final corner to power himself back into the lead of that spot. But Jeff, I'm not sure it's going to last. Here comes Blake Wharton again. Squares him up. Can he get the position? They're bar to bar through the rhythm section again. Wharton should have the advantage of the corner. Davalos back to the inside. Through the whoops and put Blake Wharton up to another spot, up to 3rd.
What an incredible battle we have for the final podium position. It looked like Davalos had a nice, comfortable spot. Wharton absolutely on the gas and comfortable.
He bobbled right there. Wharton cannot relax though, Jeff. He lit a little bobble right there as we're on the final lap now with Purcell across the finish line jump.
Wharton, this rookie rider has absolutely maxed out his heart rate. He has went for it. It looked like a seasoned veteran coming through these riders. Just an incredible effort. And I'm telling you, his line choice and his racing savvy, you know, his racing mind is so impressive. What he's done and how calm he has stayed in a situation that just, I mean, it's tense.
Dealing with some of the best lights riders in the world, and he's not afraid to go after him. Wharton trying to hold on for a third. Purcell with the lead on the final lap. Izzy running in second while Wharton and Davalos battle for the final podium spot. Here's Purcell. Final corner. Christophe Purcell 2 for 2 as he takes the checkered flag here in Atlanta. Nico Izzy's going to make his way, try to take second, and he does. Wharton's going to take third. No, he's not. Davalos is just going to beat him at the line, and Jessamine and Hahn will finish out the top 5 and 6 as Stroop finishes in 7th. What a tough break for Wharton.
Wow, that was crazy. That was awesome. What a ride for Christophe Purcell.
What an unfortunate
Steady
break.
And smart, wow.
What an unfortunate break for our 7th place finisher, Austin Stroop.
Get a little lucky, look at that. All the praise from his teammates, close friends. He's getting comfortable up here, top of the podium.
Christophe Purcell takes the win, his 2nd in a row, and extends his points lead. French rider bouncing back from a horrendous crash, rehabs himself, gets back on the bike, and now leads the points in the Supercross Lites East Coast Championship. Austin Stroop, what could have been. Purcell, what it is. East Coast round number 2 brought this crowd to its feet. We still got the main event for Supercross yet to go here tonight. Here's a look at the results, and Christophe Purcell at the top of the board once again. Maybe the highlight of the night, though, is Nico Izzy had to fight his way through the last chance qualifier to finish 2nd in the main event.
Yeah, and then just behind them, Davalos and Wharton just absolutely giving it 110% all the way to the finish, with Davalos managing to capture that final spot on the podium with a pass with 2 turns to go. Well, incredible depth there.
And the heartbreak has to go to Austin Stroop.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That one cost a big bonus also.
Let's go to the victory podium. Here's Aaron.
Martin Davalos definitely had some company on his hands with a rookie out there, Blake Wharton. But Martin, when you came up to the podium, you're almost looking a little bit frustrated with your performance this evening.
Well, yeah, my race wasn't the best. You know, I got a great start. You know, I took advantage of it. I made a lot of mistakes actually out there. I think I was thinking too much, and you know, then I got caught up with Matt Lemoyne, and then Blake got behind us, and you know, he was riding a strong race. Went by me, I made a mistake. I just wanted to stay behind him. I knew we had only 3 laps to go, or 2, and I was just waiting for his mistake. I took advantage of his lap over there, and you know, I got me in 3rd, so I'm really happy.
Congratulations on making it up to the podium the first time this season.
So Martin makes his way over to do some interviews now for the crowd here in the audience. Of course, we're going to march all the way to Las Vegas. That's what the Supercross Tour does. Begins in Anaheim, finishes in Las Vegas. And for the Lites riders, that's where we have the East-West shootout. The only time all season the 2 different regions get together.
That's going to be awesome.
Oh, what a field we're going to have there this year.
It's the Lites is very competitive on both coasts this year. It is really talented riders.
Well, look how good the points are. Izzy fighting up for that 2nd place finish here tonight. Puts him only 8 markers behind Christophe Purcell, Aaron.
Talk about a hard charge by Nico Izzy today. Right before he went out for his race, he said, man, this day is rough, to say the least. Nico, are you pretty pumped and excited with how the outcome of your performance was this evening?
Yeah, you know, I really turned it around, and the way it started out was a bad day. You know, 2nd practice, had a really hard crash. And then in the heat race, somebody landed on me, and I had a good LCQ, so turn it around and get a good start and you know, get to come out the second. It's not too bad, you know. I'm just going to keep fighting for that win and hopefully we come back strong next weekend and have another good finish.
Congratulations, a long, hard day, but it definitely paid off.
SpeedTV.com has the most comprehensive AMA racing coverage with expert analysis, videos, results, and news stories posted as soon as they become available. No one covers AMA racing better than SpeedTV.com. Go now and enter keyword AMA. And Jeff, if you go there right now, there's a live chat going on SpeedTV.com about tonight's race here in Atlanta. We got the whole thing covered for you.
I could go on my phone right now.
Yeah, well, wouldn't be the first time. Let's go back to Aaron.
A wild ride tonight for Christophe Purcell. A little bit of a gift handed to you when your teammate Austin Stroop went down. Did you know what was going on at that point that you'd taken over the lead?
Yeah, it was fast all the day, and he got some good lane over there. He made a trap that I can't make. That was pretty dangerous, and I'm on the championship, so I don't know. He got a mistake. I was pretty good behind to catch him, but my bike was really good, my Kawasaki bike, and you know, it wasn't easy on that track. I just gave my best. I was sick all the week, so I'm happy to win that race.
Congratulations on your second victory this season.
Here's the checkered flag, and Purcell trying to do something like the great Grant Langston.
Yeah,
foreign rider
win the world
win
championship,
the championship.
come over, sweep everything here in
Langston,
the U.S.
Langston literally won everything you can win on a Lites bike.
Yep.
Time now for the Speed Trivia Challenge, a chance for you to win a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. Here's today's question. Who won the first Atlanta Supercross main? Was it the Osho, the Hurricane, RJ, or the Beast from the Southeast?
I know.
Yeah, I figured you probably did. To enter, either text your answer, number 1, 2, 3, or 4, to Speed3 773333. Standard texting rates apply, or you can log on to SpeedTV.com, keyword SX. The winner will receive a 32-gigabyte Apple iPod Touch. Stay tuned to the end of tonight's show, and we'll give you the correct answer to our Speed Trivia Challenge. All right, Jeff, you're going to get out that chat on the SpeedTV.com website here because we got a main event coming up. And can anybody beat James Stewart? And look who is right next to him.
That's a challenge. Throwing down the gauntlet right now. I'm going to start right next to you, and I'm going to show you that I can beat you the first turn.
They are some of the best riders in the world. Josh Grant, who won the season opener in Anaheim. James Stewart, 6 in a row. Going for his second championship. Davi Millsaps won this race just a year ago, the Honda rider. Feeling some good momentum here. Ryan Villopoto, the fast up-and-comer, looking for his career first Supercross win. And Chad Reed, the two-time champ, the reigning champ, won his heat. Can he win his first main? We'll have it when we come back. Atlanta, Georgia, the Peach State. Tonight, it's the home of Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. A lot of good race fans here in the Atlanta area. They get a wide variety of racing down here between NASCAR, the NHRA, AMA Superbike, and lots of great road racing. But tonight, it's all about Supercross. Let's check in with Aaron Bates for Progressive Pre-Race Report.
The number 29 of Andrew Short might be quiet and reserved off the track, but he's definitely aggressive while on the track. He's got himself 2 podium finishes so far this season, but he said this is where you really want to keep your eye out for Andrew Short, is when he really turns it on. He's switched up his training program this season with Jeff Spencer, and he's got some reserves left in the tank. He said at this point of the season, riders start to burn out, but this is where Andrew Short says he's going to be digging extremely deep.
Well, he could be a player. Of course, a lot's going to have to happen between these two. And look at the difference here, Jeff. Stewart kind of up, looking out, and look at Reed, just how he was before the start of the heat. And then look at the difference between where they've been at the average position at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, this has been the difference here, this 5.43 for Reed, but he showed some excellent technique in his heat race. He's lined up just to the inside of James Stewart. That's exactly where I would want to be, because if you control the inside, you control the first turn.
20 riders will be in the gate for 20 laps. Reed and Stewart, the 2 heat race winners. Charles Summey took the checkered flag in the LCQ. But Stewart, fastest qualifier, and of course Davi Millsaps, last year's winner here. The thing about Stewart, Jeff, he had a crash earlier today in the sand section. But when he stays upright in a main event, he's unbeatable, literally.
Literally.
100%.
So let's see. Oh, we're missing a rider.
There he is. Millsaps next to Villopoto and Tedesco. Hustling to get ready.
Gets that bike fired up. Might have just had to adjust something in his boot or something like that. And, you know, now he's back on the bike. This is it. Stewart, Reed, they all go through their pre-race rituals. Chad Reed always does the same thing, claps his hand. James Stewart always throws his right hand up. I had my ritual, and this is where the funnel starts. You start to focus your funnel down to the drop of the gate. Here we go.
It's all about the start. Hill gets bogged down in the gate. Who's going to get the start?
Number 7, James Stewart.
Of course, he's going to get the whole shot. Mike Alessi trying to come along with him. Broc Hepler on that number 60 Yamaha. Where's Reed? He's about 8 positions back. You can see him buried in the pack. A terrible start for him. Not what he was looking for.
Villopoto in 3rd. Grant running 5th. Then Millsaps, and then our reigning champ, Chad Reed.
Here comes Villopoto trying to find his way around Broc Hepler. Remember, Hepler made his return to the series a week ago in San Diego. Crashed hard. Here comes Villopoto trying to get to the inside. Gets the door shut on him.
How about James Stewart? So focused out front. Nabbed the start once again.
Boy, Villopoto's trying to get around Hepler as quick as he can. To the inside. Could that be where he needs it? No. Gets bogged down again. And all of that time, he's struggling to get around Hepler. Gapping the field is James Stewart.
Hepler, what a great start here. Coming back after that frustrating crash last week in San Diego. Let's see if he can hold on for a full 20 laps.
Jeff, Chad Reed is up to 4th. You're going to see him right behind Villopoto. There he is. He's got Millsaps and Alessi and Short chasing him. There's the Australian, the 2-time champion, Chad Reed. Millsaps looking pretty strong too. Davi late to the line, but quick out of the gate.
Well, Davi Millsaps, a Georgia native, you know, he wants to do good in front of all the family and friends that are here. All the friends that he grew up racing with, the Chad Reed, really showing us a sense of urgency. Reed to the outside, Millsaps to the inside.
Oh,
they
boy, that
almost touched.
That almost cost him too. How stunned are you in the fact that Villopoto has not disposed of Hepler yet?
Well, Hepler shows some serious speed. I mean, he's a very talented rider. What is going to come into play here later on is his endurance as we get deeper into the laps here, because Hepler hasn't been racing, and it's very tough to come back and to have your stamina up for the 20-lap mains. Even though you can practice it at home, you just can't. It just is not the same as being out there racing because of the intensity. But look how close they are to James Stewart. Hepler's right there.
Yeah, he's only 1.8 seconds back.
3 laps in.
Yeah, it just dropped to 2.2, but that's still very impressive. We saw Stewart win his heat race by 11 seconds.
Well, right now, this is going to be a difficult track. It's starting to deteriorate. The whoops and the rhythm sections, which are so tricky, that's where they start to get rutted. See Chad Reed nailing the triple in the middle of this rhythm, but Chad Reed really excels through the whoops. This is where he has to pour it on and try to find a line past Villopoto.
Reed closing in on Villopoto. Here he
is.
comes through the rhythm section. He's side by side, bar to bar with the number 2. Can he get him in the corner? No, but he gets a good drive off of it. Flies through the air over the big triple jump into the sand section. Gets bogged down there as they come over the Dragon's back. Boy, he made a great run through the rhythm section, then the sand just killed his momentum.
Well, he tried a new line, and he almost stalled it. Reed almost goes down. That allows Davi Millsaps to apply some pressure. That is not what Chad Reed needs if he wants to retain the points lead leading Atlanta. He needs first place. He needs to get past Stewart.
Chad Reed said he loves racing in these football stadiums because those 180 corners, and he's right in the middle of a battle for a podium spot. There are really 3 riders fighting over second place, which is held by Broc Hepler on that number 60 Yamaha right now. Ryan Villopoto chasing him on the Kawasaki, and you can almost include Davi Millsaps on the Honda in that fight. The problem for Reed when it comes to battling for second is that's what it seems to be that he's doing every week. He's been second every race but the first one, where he finished third behind Josh Grant, the race winner.
Well, and he was running second when he went down, when he hit the back of Stewart there, and both riders went down. But very impressive ride here for Broc Hepler. Great ride also for Villopoto. As we're on the 6th lap of 20 here, and they're turning some impressive lap times. Stewart last time around was a 48.3. Hepler just second off.
Boy, Villopoto really closed in through the whoops that time. Maybe we're starting to see that endurance level closing in for Hepler, because here comes Villopoto charging hard.
Well, seeing Villopoto couldn't do that on-off. That's going to allow Reed actually to close right up on the back. You see this time Reed just follows right in line, just gets a mouthful of that sand, but he doesn't lose much time as when he tried to, oh, and Reed almost jumps off the side of the finish line jump. So close. If he gets the back tire up on that tuck block and it goes to the left, Reed is down.
That would have been devastating towards his championship hopes. Villopoto trying to fight his way through, trying to get around Broc Hepler. Let's go back and watch what happened to Reed here, Jeff, and how close he came to a total disaster.
And he was just out of the top of our screen real time, but watch here. Yellow bike there, number 1. He jumps. You see him put his right foot up because he knows he's too far to the right. Wow. I'm telling you, Ralph, that was so close. I mean, a millimeter to the left, and the rear wheel would have kicked out. Could have been disastrous for this night and possibly the championship, but got a little lucky right there. That's what Chad Reed has needed all throughout this championship, was to be a little luckier than what he's been. He's been solid, he's been fast, he's been strong.
Well, as you watch him high above in our RoboCam from the ceiling of the Georgia Dome, Hepler, Villopoto, and Reed, 3-rider battle for second. Broc Hepler, named after the great Brock Glover, who's here tonight.
A number of Supercross greats are in the house here tonight, of course. Even some of the Georgia natives, Billy Lyles, Keith Turpin, going way back there. Great to see those guys here attending.
Johnny O'Mara's here.
Yeah,
John's here.
Yeah, most of these guys are attending with their kids now, you know.
And this fight for second continues, and it's a good one. Over the finish line jump, they're now 9.7 seconds behind Stewart, but the battle between these three is as tight as you can get, and Millsaps trying to make it a 4-way fight.
Well, and you can see Broc Hepler really has the rhythm right now. Villopoto tries to get up the inside. Can Hepler? No, Hepler leaves the door open.
And that's going to give Villopoto the look he was hoping for. He's right there with him. Can he finish him off in the next corner? Yes, and Reed slides through as well. He'll take over 3rd place.
Listen to the crowd here in the Georgia Dome. They're liking this battle for 2nd place.
Now, can Villopoto and Reed try to click off some of the time between them and Stewart?
Gonna be tough. Stewart is flying right now. 49-second lap time. Villopoto and Reed were at a 50, but they were also following Hepler, who was at a 50, so that lap around, Villopoto and Reed dipping down into the 49, but they're going to have to pick it up if they're going to catch our leader, James Stewart.
They are 11 seconds behind James Stewart right now. There he is, James Stewart, going for his 7th win in a row. He has won every round this year except for the season opener in Anaheim. He was leading there when he got into a crash with Chad Reed. They were running 1 and 2 going into the whoop section. They got together. They both went down. Stewart was knocked out of the race. Reed continued to finish 3rd. If he's able to hold on here tonight and take the win, it would break the tie, top the points, and solidly give it to Stewart.
Stewart just so connected with his machine at this point. I talked about it last week, but he rides qualifying practice. He rides his heat. Now once again, he's riding the main on his terms, 100% of the day on his terms. What Chad Reed and the other riders have to do is try to stand in Stewart's way by taking him out of that. When Stewart starts first in the main event, first in his heats, it just allows him to get away. So,
but look at the pressure Reed's putting on Villopoto.
Well, and this is a great ride for Villopoto, who just,
boy, big mistake there, Jeff. That could have cost him. Here comes Reed. He's got him. Jumps past him to take 2nd place. And a rider down in front of him, the other end of the sand section. Here comes Villopoto back. Oh, that's slower rider gets in the way of Reed. And it costs Reed the spot.
Chad Reed works so hard to get past Villopoto, takes advantage of the mistake, and then a lapped rider gets in the way.
Was that Matt Bonney?
We'll take another look here as they come through the sand section. That's the Hart and Huntington. That's Adams.
Yeah,
and
he 59.
Yeah, and Adams tried to go to the right, which that was the right thing for him to do. But Chad Reed guessed right.
Here he comes again. Reed back. Got the spot away. Boy, how quick it can turn.
Chad Reed, he's on fire right now. He knows that he has to keep this championship close. He has to give it 110% every lap through. Now let's see if Chad Reed can make a dent in this points, or in this lead, which is 13.8 seconds that James Stewart has. 8 laps to go.
Yamaha trying to go undefeated in this season. 8 races, 8 wins. Going back a little deeper, this is a fight between Hepler and Short over 4th. Broc Hepler in blue. And the number 60 has the spot right now.
Well, Hepler really has put in a great ride. He's been very solid right now, running 4th. Another Yamaha rider there, 33. Josh Grant riding for Gibbs Racing. They had a busload of people from the race shop down here supporting this team.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them that made the trip down from Charlotte to come enjoy the Supercross competition and cheer on their teammates here tonight.
Whoa,
Grant! Big problem.
What a shot from the overhead camera. Managed to keep it on 2 wheels there in the sand section. And that's what's so tricky about that. You have the sand and then the dragon's back and then more sand. So it's unstable. There's not traction. That's what makes it so tough for these riders to maneuver the bikes through.
Grant trying to get himself back in the top 5. Remember, he's been in the top 5 each and every round except for San Diego. Right now he's fighting over 6th with Millsaps.
And look who's just behind Grant. Ivan Tedesco putting on another strong ride. Not quite the starts that he was throwing down earlier this year. Oh, here's Grant.
He's going to get 6th away from Millsaps at the corner. Now he's got to go chase down Andrew Short. But look at Tedesco. He's going to get a position away from Millsaps too.
Ivan Tedesco, just an excellent piece of work there as he took advantage of Millsaps being pushed to the outside and just really followed right in behind Grant and took that inside line away from Millsaps.
Millsaps was late getting to the line, Jeff. Looked maybe a little out of his game. Struggled to get there. Then got a great start. Now he's kind of dripping back a little bit. Here's Short and Hepler. This is a fight for 4th.
Short to the inside.
That'll give him the position. He's going to take it in front of the mechanics area. So now Hepler drops back to 5th. And that's right where Grant wants to be to get back on track in those top 5 finishes.
Yeah, and this is a great ride for Hepler. He might have just got past, gave up 4th, but you got to remember where he's starting from this season. Coming off a couple of really bad injuries, a crash last week. A top 5 in the main event tonight for Hepler is going to be like a win. So he has to control his heart rate, keep his cool, not make any mistakes.
Aaron, it's been a tremendous ride by Broc Hepler tonight.
Definitely a hard charge by Broc Hepler. He did have his x-rays and there was nothing broken and he wasn't able to ride at all this week. But the one thing that he did say to me is he is hoping and praying that this track that is known for getting so rutted won't get too rutted because it will affect his wrist. He said it still is pretty sore and it makes it very difficult to hold on, especially for 20 solid laps.
But Jeffy looks very solid through those whoops. I mean, he really is able to keep his body position nice, straight. I mean, that's a sign that everything is working for him physically, I would think.
Yeah, he's putting in a fine ride here tonight, but like you said, the wrist is weak. He has to minimize the mistakes. No coming up short on the jumps, no casing stuff. See right there, came up a little short. That's when the pain starts to come through the wrist.
Well, now Grant is starting to reel him in. That's going to be that battle for 5th to see if Grant can get back on a streak of being in the top 5. Well, there he is, James Stewart, our race leader. If he can hold on to take this win for Yamaha, it would break a tie between Yamaha and Honda with the most wins here in Atlanta at 10.
Watch the gate drop, Ralph. Look how late Chad Reed is compared to James Stewart. Oh, split second, but it was a half a bike length off of the gate. You see Hill on the inside. He jumped the gate, got caught in it. And look right there, Stewart out front by himself, Chad Reed buried on the inside, mid-pack across the line. I mean,
that's the story.
He gave it up. That's it. I think Chad Reed's strong enough. I think he's fast enough, but he has to get out front.
There's Matt Bonney on the 54. Stewart alongside of him. Oh, Tedesco and Grant go down in the sand section.
Uh-oh, the sand bit two riders that were inside of the top 10. Here we go.
This was for FIM with Hepler. Oh, Tedesco just landed on it.
That was bad judgment. Hepler was in line. Grant decided not to jump the Dragon's back. Tedesco still went for it and was just directly in the line of Grant and landed right on the back of him. From this point, you would think that Ivan would have seen that he was right there in that line, but obviously he thought differently, and both riders outside of the top 10.
Jeff, as we said before the start of the main, when James Stewart doesn't crash, he wins 100% of his main events to date. He's going for his 7th in a row, going for his 2nd championship. Can you think of an athlete in any other sport who's racking up the numbers like this man?
Yeah, it's pretty tough, especially in an individual sport like this. Stewart has just excelled. And
Tiger Woods doesn't win every golf tournament.
No, definitely not. And you know, that would be who you would go to.
Because it's an individual type sport.
So right now, James Stewart showing that he definitely has the skill. He's done the work. He's made a switch to Yamaha. It has been the right switch for him. The team obviously giving him a great machine, and everything's clicking, bottom line.
Final lap. James said, you know, I'm used to a lot of people saying things about me, and that's okay. He said, but what really made me mad this year was when people after Anaheim said my team isn't any good, the San Manuel team. He said that really made him mad, and he's on a mission to prove to everybody that this San Manuel Yamaha crew is one of the best in the business under the leadership of Larry Brooks. There's no question about it. They dialed this bike in for James. It wasn't perfect at the beginning of the year. It's pretty darn good right now, and James Stewart is without question the best in the business. His 32nd AMA career Supercross victory. James Stewart takes sole possession of the points lead with another win, his 7th in a row, as he takes the checkers here at Atlanta. Chad Reed, for the 7th race in a row, finishes 2nd.
That was a hard-fought 2nd, and that's going to keep the championship close. It's not what he wanted, but that was still a pretty good ride.
Villopoto and Short across the line in 3rd and 4th. Hepler with a tremendous ride for 5th. Here comes Tim Ferry, Kevin Windham, and Ivan Tedesco across in 6th and 7th. And James Stewart's former teammate back in his Kawasaki days, Tim Ferry, crosses the line in 8th in front of Josh Hill, who takes 9th. What a ride by James Stewart. Yeah, the San Manuel boys going to enjoy this victory. They'll load it up, go to Indianapolis, try to get another one.
Oh yeah, all them long hours in the race shop and out at the test track, this is where it all pays off.
James Stewart, the $1 million smile will be bright atop the victory podium. We'll have a chance to talk to him. Chad Reed had the sparkle in his eye after the heat. What will they be now? The championship fight continues. We'll be back to Atlanta to talk to them at the victory podium. New Bull Run with Bill Goldberg. Alliances are formed. Team Evo becomes Team Evil for their cheating ways, and the Bull Runners must survive another Goldberg challenge before advancing to the next leg. Bull Run with Bill Goldberg, Thursday night, 10 Eastern, exclusively on Speed. Hey, here's the answer to our trivia question. Jeff, I think you probably know this one. Here's the final installment of that trivia question. Your chance to win the 32GB Apple iPod Touch. We asked you who won the first Atlanta Supercross main. Well, it was the Hurricane.
That's
Bob
what I was
Hanna.
going to say.
March 5th, 1977, over at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium on a Yamaha. Remember, the winner gets a 32GB Apple iPod Touch. Thanks for playing, and congratulations to our winner. Let's go down to Aaron.
For a rookie, Ryan Villopoto was not intimidated to battle against a champion, or a defending champion, pardon me. But Ryan, you had said each and every weekend you're trying to learn from your mistakes. Do you feel that you're making progress?
Yeah, you know, it's been It's been a decent season so far, and got a few podiums, and that's what I'm looking for. And you know, the team's been behind me 100%. You know, Team Monster Kawasaki and Jeff Fox Parts Limited, just all my sponsors. I just like to thank you guys for being behind me.
Congratulations on your third place finish.
So Ryan Villopoto up on the podium again. There's James Stewart being interviewed by floor announcer Terry Boyd. And we'll be right back. We'll be talking to him in just a minute. And there's the victory podium area here at the floor of the Georgia Dome. A lot of pictures being taken down there, interviews being done for the crowd here in the audience. The results, I think Kevin Windham kind of surprisingly snuck up to 6th, didn't he?
Yeah, but there were some great rides all the way through. I mean, for Chad to get second, for James to win, Villopoto short Hepler in the top 5. Pretty impressive.
Mike Alessi was 11th. Charles Summey had another crash and ended up finishing in 20th. Let's go back to Aaron.
Well, Chad Reed may have given up the points lead, but he is far from giving up. Chad, take us through this start. If only you could have had the start that you had in your heat race. It's like you lost a bit of ground right in the main event there.
Yeah, my heat race was awesome, and actually in the main event, somebody jumped the start. So actually, I was ready tonight. I was watching it, and the gate flinched, and I kind of flinched, and I just missed it. So I totally blew that. I just had to be smart in the first turn and try to come through. I made a lot of mistakes, almost crashed a few times, but we were able to get a second and you know, minimize the damage. I felt good tonight. You know, I really enjoyed the track and the dirt, and it's a shame. I felt like I had a good battle in it tonight.
You had some competition out there again tonight. The number 2 of Ryan Villopoto, a little cat and mouse game going on between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, just that's all I could do. You know, just try to follow him and wear him down, and you know, I've been in this for a while, so I knew that, you know, as the laps went on, I could just sit there and wait for a mistake. And you know, I got by and made a mistake, and then the next lap he made a mistake at the end there and wasn't able to triple. So hats off all the guys on Rockstar Makita Suzuki. You know, the bike was awesome today, and you know, we felt a lot better and felt more competitive.
Chad Reed's a warrior. Consistency pays off.
Well, and that second place, Aaron, keeps the championship alive and is probably going to go all the way to Sam Boyd Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, that first weekend in May. Jeff, you, Aaron, and myself are all going to be there as we wrap up this 2009 championship season. We sure hope you can join us there live at Sam Boyd Stadium. If not, you'll see it here on Speed, and it should be a great way to close out this 2009 season. Here's the point. Stewart now becomes the official points leader. We've had 3 different points leaders this year. Josh Grant led it for a few weeks, then Chad Reed, and now James Stewart has locked it all up for now, Aaron.
7 wins for the lucky number 7 at this point of the season. He takes over the points lead. James, at this point, what is it that's motivating you, and where's your drive? Where is it all stemming from?
Well, you know, I still got a lot of work left, and I know the championship's far from over. And, you know, for me, it feels good to climb back in the points lead. You know, I just got to keep it going. But you know what? It's going to definitely be a good series, and I want all you guys to come out to the Indianapolis Dome next weekend. You guys are going to get for a fantastic race.
Congratulations again on your sweet success.
SpeedTV.com has the most comprehensive AMA racing coverage with expert analysis, videos, results, and news stories posted as soon as they become available. No one covers AMA racing better than SpeedTV.com. Go now and enter keyword AMA. Sure hope you enjoyed the live chat that was going on SpeedTV.com tonight, and more importantly, we sure hope you enjoyed our live coverage here tonight. Jeff, as I looked at Chad Reed again on the victory podium there, the eyes look different again.
Yeah, once again, disappointed.
Yeah.
Searching for those answers. He knew that he had made some improvements this week, but it still didn't translate into a win. It's got to be so frustrating because I know Chad Reed works hard. I know that the team works hard, but he's close. But it really came down to the drop of the gate. Like he said, Josh Hill jumped the gate. It made the gate flinch, distracted Chad Reed for just a second. That's where he lost the race.
Okay, we're in a stadium again next week, a dome, the new Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy, and then the big Speedway at Daytona, 2 radically different places.
Yeah, well, this championship's far from over.
Yeah.
Stewart, definitely, he's on a roll. He looks unbeatable. But Chad Reed's going to keep digging deep like he always does. Stewart, though, he's been awesome. I mean, what do you say? You know?
Well, what you say is it's a great opportunity to watch one of the greatest athletes in professional sports these days, and quite possibly one of the greatest ever when it comes to racing Supercross. And it's a good time to pay attention and soak it all in. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emick, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Atlanta. We sure hope you've enjoyed our live coverage of Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Congratulations, James.